Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Thank you so much for tuning us in as we have a night of Sasquatch, Bigfoot, and some really, really strange woo coming at you with Discover Sasquatch's Chris Reinhardt tonight. And Dirty Fylth should be in sometime tonight. Don't know where he is. You don't never know where he is. Maybe he's painting a flagpole or something. I don't know. But hello to all of you. Let's say hello to everyone in our chat room. Race fan in the gold medal position. Roy Boy taking home the silver. Cosmic Fleur with a beautiful bronze medal. Hi, Lisa C. Hi, Nikki in Seattle. D. Cohen, CD Squatcher, how are you? John Hinoyosa, how you been doing? Good to have you here. Tracy Scott, good morning to you. Tracy will be signing autographs after the show. Light up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Shiro, how are you? Welcome. And there's Brown Dwarf, Kathy Evans, and Donna Spencer. Human Carl is here. The legend of, he's just a legend. Human Carl, not to be confused with Alien Carl, but damn it, he's a good human Carl. Thank you for your service, Human Carl. We appreciate it. Samantha Hazelwood Gray, nice to see you. W. David Page, Millennium. And who else? Margie O. Morrow, welcome back. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. Hello there, Patrick Noble, or a.k.a. Noble Patrick. Obi Flett. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Hi, Sandra. Brian Drummond, good to see you. And Nate Foot is here. Nate Foot will be signing autographs after the show as well. Light up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Midnight Sasquatchers, how are you? We don't squatch here. And Awesome Ann B, Crystal J, nice to see you. Eric Martin, thank you so much for kicking off the Super Chat tonight. The Super Chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. So thank you so much, Eric, for kicking things off. Be the Arrow, Digger Dog, and Jenny. We love you, Jenny. How you doing? Hope you're having a good night. I'm having a good night, too. Son had a good hockey practice before tonight's show. And, yeah, I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting for another, 2 minutes here before we got to hit the start button. And, there's Les Paul Holland. Good to see you. How's your guitars? Especially the blue Les Paul. You know I love that one. You know that's my favorite. Yes, it is. And let's see, what else do we have here? Pure Aussie Gold, nice to have you here. How's tomorrow looking? Since it's 3:04 p.m. where you are. And Aussie, oi to you. Well, here comes the Aussie contingent. They're going to come in strong now. Midnight or Midwest Night Squad. Night Watchers. Why do I frig up your name every time? So sorry about that. Super Chat is open. What else is open here? Our store and our website, spacedoutradio.com. We're going to be putting up some new stuff here soon, which I'm looking forward to. I seem boring tonight. What the hell is with this? Sue Ashwell, Welcome back. Another great Aussie. And yeah, I don't know. Gonna have a hell of a show. Dirty Fylth is here. Chris Reinhardt is here. Hold on. What are we missing here? Got my Tums. I got my Vicks inhaler. Got my chapstick. I don't know. Either way, let's just have a hell of a show. Polar Eclipse, how you doing? Blue Cruise, nice to see you. Dirty Fylth in the chat room. All right, guys, let's have some fun tonight. Bigfoot all night long. Let's make it work. Horns up. Anytime, like right now. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, here, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Navy the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and now on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Tonight's show brought to you by CHIVE Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting CHIVE Charities today. You can find them on our website. A power show of Sasquatch tonight. Yes, Chris Reinhardt will be here momentarily talking about discovering Sasquatch and the woo around it. In hour number 3, we're going to head to the swamp. Swamp Dwellers back with another spooky story. Tim Senor brings the UFO report, and Shirky Poo has the news. Our main man out of Connecticut, Chris Reinhardt, joins us as he leads Discover Sasquatch Investigations through New York and Connecticut and in through the Berkshire Mountains. He's been involved with many teams doing extensive work, not only in the New England area, but around Florida and Missouri as well. The one thing that he knows is this is getting stranger and stranger and stranger. And we're going to figure it out tonight because Chris has some major, major woo for us here. Chris, it's always a pleasure to have you back on Spaced Out Radio, my friend. What have you been up to?
Oh, well, I just want to say thank you for having me back. I consider this by far one of the best shows out there, and I just wanted to put a shout out to you for that. My wife was asking me tonight, she goes, why are you staying up till midnight to stay up to 3 o'clock in the morning? I said, because I'm going to be on Dave Scott's show, Spaced Out Radio. And it's well worth the time, and I appreciate the invite, and I love being here. So thank you so much.
We love having you here, my friend. It works well for us, and if it works well for you too, that just makes it all the much better. And we're glad to always have people such as you and Nate Rudd and his son Hallmark. And I know Corey, aka Hallmark, is getting real excited because we're getting into holiday season here. So he only needs one channel and one channel only, and that's the Hallmark channel. And I know he's going to be good for that. But hey, some people, I know, Nate and I have talked about it, and he said, I don't know where I went wrong. I said, well, has your son attended any Coldplay concerts? He goes, sadly, Dave, yes, many. But, I mean, he is a Cleveland Browns fan, so what do you do? But, hey, got to have some fun with these guys. The one thing that I really appreciate about your work, Chris, is the fact that, you try and bring logic to it. And I think that's the only thing that we could really ask for as people on the outside is what is the logic behind a lot of these subjects? You don't dismiss the woo. You let the investigation take its course wherever it goes. You're not biased towards any type of addendums or the BFRO rules or anything like that. Why have you chosen to take this path in learning and investigating Sasquatch and other cryptid creatures?
Well, most of people know that I didn't start out this way. I started out that these guys were apes that were banging on trees, living in structures, living under logs and eating uh, whatever they could get their hands on. And I'm sure they still do eat whatever they do, and they still walk the forest here. I agree with that 100%. But you have to go, and you cannot ignore the data and the evidence that you get. These things are happening in the woods for a reason. There's the 800-pound animal, whatever you guys want to call it, animal, being, person. Everybody has their own way of addressing them. One footprint, 800-pound animal, 17-inch footprint in the middle of nowhere. One print. Where's all the other prints? Where are they? There's how do they do that? How do they leave one print that's 3 inches? I mean, it's sunk in the ground. You know what I mean? Explain that.
And let me throw a curveball to you that was throwing a curveball to me. Every print that I have ever seen has been right-footed. And when we had our sighting just a few weeks ago, and then we went back a couple days later to look for evidence and tracks and everything, way off in another area, we found two 16-inch tracks. Both were left-footed. They're playing with us. They are playing with us, man.
Well, how are they doing it? How can they just leave the like we just found, actually I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the show, we just found a five print trackway here in Northwest Connecticut. Beautiful prints, beautiful prints. Should have been casted. Again, rookie mistake. I just got back from a trip and I didn't have it in my backpack to cast these prints. But let me explain the whole situation until we get to. It was 95 degrees this day. I mean, we were sweating. We were sweating. There was bugs, mosquitoes, everything. It was everywhere. And we're tracking these guys because you can track them. If you know what you're looking for, you can 100% track these guys. And we're following the stick breaks and the prints, and they get down on all fours. And you got to look for the knuckle prints and how they can move on all fours. You got to look for all that. But we got to this one area, and the guy that was with me goes, "This isn't the same forest." Flat out, he goes, "This is not the same forest." And I was waiting for him to do that because it wasn't 95 degrees anymore at this place. The bugs weren't flying all around our faces anymore. Something happened. We walked into a part of that forest that we can't explain. It can't be explained. And he's not a woo guy. And I'm not saying this is woo because this can all be proved. I believe that with the right gear, we can prove what's going on. We can make farther leaps than we are if we had the right gear. But the forest wasn't the same. And that hasn't been the first time we've come across this when we're in their areas. It's just like the scene changes, the climate changes. I don't know if it's the excitement of being around their prints or the interaction that's going on or any of that, but something changes out there, and we're trying to wrap our heads around that part of it too, because it's not the same place as we were just walking through. We were walking through hell, basically, with horseflies and sweating to death. And also we get to this one spot and we don't feel any of that anymore. And we're on the 5-print trackway. And there's another. How do you explain that?
There is so much unexplainable about this. What differed between this key investigation where you found the 5-track print and anything else that you have investigated?
It's just we're following the right signs now. And it's not just looking, we're not listening for knocks, and we're not hooting and we're not hollering. There's certain things that we're starting to find, And we're using meters. We're using EMF meters with us that, most ghost hunters use. We're using those in our investigations. And these things are leading us to high energy areas. And we believe that these high energy areas, the Sasquatch are attracted to them. And whatever else is, the spirits are in the woods are attracting, because we are catching EVPs that will blow your mind, Dave. They are talking to us and we are hearing them. And they are singling out people in our group. The guy, I'll tell you an instant, this is the same day we found that 5-print trackway. There's a guy in the back and he has a camcorder and we're walking. And all of a sudden he's walking and all of a sudden you hear this, hey. And he goes, hey, did you guys hear that? Did somebody say hey? And none of us, the three of us, no, we didn't hear no hey. No, we didn't. Nobody heard hey. 5 more steps. All of a sudden you hear this, hey. And now we hear it and he does it. They're throwing different, whatever it is throwing different voices at us now out in the woods at different people. And we're hearing different things at different times. We're catching Native American phrases. This is all, I just put a video out. You guys can go on my channel on Discover Sasquatch on YouTube and you can catch these EVPs live. And they're directed at us and they're hearing, and we're just following all the signs because it's all connected. It is all, and I'll repeat that, it's all connected together. Some way, somehow, the spirit side, the Sasquatch side, the alien side, everything that you encounter out in the woods is, in my book, 100% connected. And if you follow the signs, you're gonna. We waited 50 years for this. It's long enough. It needs to progress. We need to get past the knocking on the trees and the hooting and the hollering and whispering for them. And we need to start looking for this other side, because we will make leaps and bounds. Just imagine if we listened to Tesla 40 or 50 years ago, where we would be right now. Imagine the world right now we would live in. It would just be, we would be living in the space age, and everybody would be happy, everybody would be rich, we would be paying for nothing. It's there, and it can be tested, and that's why we do it. And
there's a lot of people, and I'm going to tell you right now, I love it. I love what you just said, because I have tried to tell our audience over especially the last year or so, it is all connected. The phenomena is all connected. There is no cryptid world. There is no paranormal world. There is no aliens. There is no consciousness. It is all one giant ball of phenomena.
Quantum.
Quantum
entanglement.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no. I think that's great. But the fact that you have established patterns, and you with your team now are using those energetic patterns to find their areas and to even find them, that's a major step up, Chris, than what we're used to.
It's frequencies. We are using different, we are using different frequencies. I'm not going to give out the secret how or what we're using, but they are responding to them. We were out a month ago, and the 2 girls, we got 2 young girls on our team. One's 19 and one's 21, and they're awesome people to have on their team, and they've learned so much since the time they've been on. But they whistle in a certain tone, and we got fouled, and something whistled at the 2 of them, and we caught it right on tape. And it's on my channel. You can go and look at it. It's called The Whistler of Rock Throw Alley, and you can hear it. And they're mimicking our whistles now. We have a spot on there where it mimics our whole whistle. We use a certain whistle. I'll give that secret away, and you guys can hear it on the thing. But they're mimicking it, but for one, they're missing a note. But the rest of it, they got it dead on, except for one note, and we're trying to figure out why. And we're catching it again. We're catching it for you guys to hear. We're not just blowing smoke here. You guys can go to my channel and you can hear this, and you can hear it live, and it's phenomenal. And it's the frequency thing, and we got to, and you know who's doing a lot of it is the guys out at Skinwalker Ranch. And if you ever watch that show, right now the stuff they're finding out there, the scientists they got living out there, it's just it's extreme. Portals are real. People can open them if they're in. I don't know how to explain it. I can't say because I've never seen them, but I believe 100% that there is something, some way they can come in and out. They're not here all the time. They're here and they're there. I don't know how to explain that. I haven't gotten to that part yet, but we had Ron Moorhead on the show, and we did a quantum entanglement experiment. Now, are we close to a commercial break? Because I don't want to get into that too.
We got 8 minutes. We got lots of time for it.
All right. So we had Ron Moorhead on the thing, and after Florida, you guys were on the last time I was on the show. We told you about the Florida where they left the cell phone messages. We got the 4 initials of the people that were in the swamp looking for these guys for 12 years on my phone, sending out to somebody that I was texting. Explain that. We still haven't figured that one out. There's no way to figure that one out. So something intelligent left a message. I fell in a brook down there in Florida. I splashed in the thing, and the first thing that you hear on the EVP, it goes, "Hey, look, it's Chris." I never been down there. They don't know who I am. Chris is in back of me, but he wasn't the one that fell in the brook. I fell in the brook, and all of a sudden you hear his voice go, "Hey, look, it's Chris," in a southern draw. Blows your mind there. So we had Ron Moorhead, and I talked to Ron. I said, "Listen, the Sierra sounds top 4, top 5 of all time, everything that's ever happened in the Bigfoot world, guaranteed. I want to talk quantum Bigfoot. I want to talk about that other side. It needs to start being talked about more. It needs to get out there." So we did a whole show on it, and me and Chris at the end said, "All right, so we're going to try a quantum entanglement experiment." So we put it out there. I want you all to think about, when I'm out on my investigations, I want you guys to think tones and vibrations. And Chris says, I want everybody to think about owls. And he tells owls, and for no reason. And that's the experiment we're going to put out. And then in a month, we'll come back to it and we'll see what went down. So a month goes by, and Chris went on his trip. I did my thing. Everybody was still thinking about it. I'm driving to my buddy. You guys all know Alfred Santariga, right? The Godfather himself.
Oh yeah. He's got power goatee.
And we're heading. I'm going up to his birthday party, and I'm driving. And Maria looks over at my arm, and she goes, "What'd you do to your arm?" I'm like, "I have no idea what I did to my arm." I look down at my arm. I have 3 scratches, long scratches down the side of my arm, the inside of my arm. So if you scratch the inside of your arm, you're going to remember that. That's baby fat. You'll never get rid of that. That's going to hurt. I never knew those scratches were there. So we're thinking the little one. See, I jumped ahead a little bit. How do I back up? I'm going to back up real. Sorry, I apologize. I'm going to back up real quick. 2 weeks prior to this in the house, my grandbabies live with me, and the youngest one has been pointing in the corner saying monsters, 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 monsters. And the older one, he's 4 years old, has seen a lady coming up and down the cellar stairs. So this is prior to all this. So then Maria sees the scratches, and we're going to Al. And Al is into the spiritual thing. He's in the spiritual world. He's been seen it all, done it all. So now he's scared because the little ones are saying monsters. They see the 3 scratches. Now, the 3 scratches, everybody's thinking this and that. So he calls Larry and Debbie. Larry and Debbie. What's their name? Ewell. Is that the Larry and Debbie Ewell? They were trained by the Warrens. They're exorcists, but they're friends of Al's, and they came to do a blessing of my house for a favor. Because I was worried about the scratches and the babies. And I was worried about the babies too, because they shouldn't be afraid in their own house. So they come to the house to do the blessing. And she walks in and she sits down and she goes, this house, it's heavy in here. It is so heavy in here, it's hard to breathe. Not demonic. So that's the next thing she goes, because these guys, this is cakewalk to them now, because there's no demons here. These guys take demons out of people. And it's not demonic, but you were somewhere where you weren't supposed to be. You either walked through it, or you grabbed something, or you did something other than that, but there was others with you, and now you're bonded through life because they went there with you. The same thing was happening to Chris and his sister down in Florida. The same two people that were with me in the swamp the year later, the same week. They started seeing the stuff going down at their house. They had stuff going on, like the orbs and, happenings like that you notice like that. And there's no way Debbie knew that. So she says there's a Native American presence here. You either walk through an area that was protected by something or cursed, or they put a curse on it or something. And so they blessed the house. They left tobacco all around the house. I'm making a long story short here so we can move along. But blessed all the house. My cat has never walked into my office in my basement, ever. I'm down on the phone here, and I'm talking. I think I might have been talking to Al, telling him that they just left the house. What happens? The cat comes in this room, no lie, and crawls up and sits on my lap. My hair is sticking straight up on my arms right now. Never another word of monsters from the little one again. No more old lady up and down the stairs. I never did any of this stuff before. I never blessing the spirits, the demons, all this all new to me. But it worked. The next day, Maria has one of those self-rising desks, right?
Yeah.
Stuffed owl on top of her desk. Stuffed owl, right? Chris sends me a picture. I sent him the pictures of the scratches on my arm. He sends me the pictures of the owl talons, and they match up. Owl talons are hooked a certain way, and if you can see the scratches down the arm, the quantum entanglement happened, but it didn't happen to Chris with the owl. It happened here, because there's no way that owl stuffed animal ended up on Maria's desk. It's too high. The babies can't even reach that high to put the owl on top of her desk. And this was the day after the priest left. Whatever was happening with that quantum entanglement experiment happened, but it happened backwards. So Chris is on vacation out at Yellowstone, and they're taking a horseback ride, right? This horse is taking hundreds of rides. They've been through the woods forest out there. I mean, seen predators. His wife's horse freaks out. Almost throws her off the horse. It's going, it's running. They have to chase the horse down and save the thing. What would make a horse freak out without anybody, no predators around, no nothing? High-pitched raining in an ear, making the horse like what I was putting out there. The other end of the entanglement was the tones, and it was just the way all that happened with the quantum entanglement stuff is just, I'm just like, whoa, this is just crazy. And this isn't the end of it. After this, something else goes on that's even more crazy. I'm sorry if I'm jumping everywhere, but
I know you're excited about it, but we do have to take a break here at the bottom of the hour, Chris, and I got a bunch of questions I need to ask you.
All right.
Definitely need to ask you. Chris Reinhardt, Discover Sasquatch, out of the beautiful New England area, Connecticut, New York. He's looking for the big guy. Can he find him? How about tones? Almost sounds like a paranormal investigation looking for Sasquatch, doesn't it? We'll get back with Chris on the other side of the break, right here on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear, dude. Just remember our YouTube audience and the podcast audience can hear us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
sorry if I was jumping all over the place, but it's just so much to take in at all at once.
Oh, you're excited, man.
And Maria, the biggest part about it is I wasn't finding this stuff. Maria was, and Maria had nothing to do with it, and she wants nothing to do with it. And she's the one that's getting the owl stuffed animal on her desk, and she's the one that's finding the scratches. And there was a magnet that was torn up after I got off the. I didn't even tell everybody that there was a magnet on our fridge that was torn up in pieces after I got off the phone with the priest. All
Oh,
over
wow.
the floor, all over the floor. And there's no way the babies can tear up a magnet. I don't care who. I can't even tear up a magnet. All in pieces. We have pictures of everything. And Maria will swear by that she found everything. But this next part has to do with the big guy. Now Sasquatch gets involved, and I'm gonna need opinions on this because the ending is just it's a little too much for me, and I'm a little concerned. So once we get to this one, I'm using the pineal gland. I'm using the third eye as much as I can now with everything I do. The number's 369. It works. I hate to tell you, but it works.
Yeah, look at you all woo and stuff. You
Yeah.
know,
But this can be tested though. This can be all tested with meters. If we had the money, we could be testing all this stuff. We don't have $20,000 like out at Skinwalker Ranch. They're using all this equipment, but we can't afford it. And they're getting results. They did their own quantum entanglement experiment. They put the number 33 out for everybody in TV land. Number 33. You guys think of 33, put it out there, use your third eye, put it out there. They put their tests out and they got all the results. Guess what was the only number that didn't come back on their results?
33.
33. 33. And
Mm.
now we have quantum scientists winning the Nobel Peace Prizes. There's more coming that we don't know about, and we need to start opening eyes. And I mean, look at the collider. How many people know about the collider? That's scary stuff in itself.
Oh yeah.
Um,
You just have to make sure you don't fall down the entire woo chain. You got to be able to hold some sanity too.
oh yeah, no. I'm staying here. I'm staying where I'm at. If I can't prove it, I'm not digging for it. I'm not. I'm just gonna.
That's the only danger of it, right? That's the only danger of it because so much is connected that that we don't understand. That some people out there they just go way off the deep end and there's no recovering them, right? Like
Right.
dirty filth down below, or our good friend Hallmark. Yeah, Hallmark, I know you're still watching, even though you got me on mute and your Hallmark channel cranked right up. Let's say hello to a few people in the chat room here. Starting on defense, number 27, Lars Jansson out of Pattaya, Sweden. Corey Cole, how are you? Good to see you. And Commonwealth Andrew, good morning to you. Who else has shown up here? Mm-hmm. That would be it. That would be it.
I like to say hey to Nate. Nate, Brown Dwarf. Hey, Brown Dwarf. I know them guys.
Yeah, Nate Foot's my buddy.
Yeah,
He's
I like
my buddy.
Nate's a good guy.
He's the kind of guy who will offer you his ice cold apple juice. That's the kind of guy Nate is.
Yep, good guy. Yeah, can't beat Nate.
Nope.
But you just can go with like you just said. Don't go off the deep end. I can't. I mean, you can't because I am only doing what the evidence is showing us. That's it. That's it.
Let's give a shout out to Cable Guy Matt. And remember, folks, make sure you hit up Cable Guy Matt for your free piece of coaxial cable. He'll even autograph it for you. You cannot buy these in stores. Limit one per household. Yep. You just hit Cable Guy Matt up right now, and he'll make sure to ship you out some cable. GF. Good to see you. Your Maple Leafs won tonight. Hilton, nice to have you here. And yep, good old Cable Guy Matt. Dude, I still got all the coax, man, besides the stuff I've given away. We're going to need a cable guy, Matt. We are going to need some coaxial cable for the Vegas trip. Definitely going to need some. Here we go, everyone. Hi, Linda. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. Want to remind you that if you missed portions of this show or others, we got our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Okay, we continue on tonight. Chris Reinhardt, Discover Sasquatch. We are getting into the meat of the matter here, where he's changing his tune on what Sasquatch is all about, that it is all part of a connected phenomena that is riding the wave of humanity. Chris, before you get too much deeper into your story, you said that you and your team have conducted some pretty incredible experiences that have really changed the tone of what you're doing. Anyways, you mentioned sound, you mentioned frequency. How did you, with trying to hold off on giving you up your secrets, how did you guys decide that this was a road you wanted to take in order to see if it would work, first and foremost?
Well, I give all my credit to Chris Connor. If you guys don't know him, he is the creator of the Trail to Bigfoot. He's out of Florida, and he's the one that got me down this road. He's the one that brought the meters, the radio frequency meters. He's a big fan of and I can't even think of them out west there, Skinwalker Ranch. He's following, and that's where we got the idea for the RF meters. And it's working. They work. The RF, we're getting stones thrown at us while we're receiving readings that could cook you if you were in a Faraday box. Put it that way. But these are broad readings. I mean, we're not in a box. We were actually contacted by a satellite tech mechanic that's been doing it for 30 years. And he looked at our meters and he did a bunch of research on it. He says there's no way, no how that you guys should be getting those readings in the middle of the Connecticut forest or the middle of the green swamp in Florida, while you're having things throwing stones at you. So is something opening and those stones are coming through, or is there a tracking device in these guys that needs to be so strong because they're so big? That needs to be that heavy duties to contact, so they can't even dig it out of their own. I mean, there's a million and one things someone could come up with to explain this, but the truth is we're getting these readings, and then we're getting the physical presence at the same time. So now we're trying to figure out how is this happening. Now we have to approach. Now we need equipment that can show us which way which way. We know which way the stones are thrown, but that doesn't mean they're there. You know what I mean? That could be one guy that's way over there, and he's making a sync that there, and then there's another guy that's closer in back of us, and that's where the reading's coming from. You know, we don't know all that yet. We need more meters. We need more time. This year, there was a lot of health issues with our group. Again, the gallbladder came huge. Mike is another young member of the group. He lost his gallbladder this year. I've had 3 surgeries on mine, and now I've had 4 surgeries on the retina in my eye this year, and so this year's been kind of slow. But every time we went out, we had this stuff happen. We got the experiences. And is it the girls that are with us now all the time? We don't know that either. Like I said, it's all. We opened up a whole big can now, and now we got to start cooking it. You know what I mean? We got to start putting a little bit here and mix it in a little bit here and cook it and see if that works. And then, you know what I'm saying? And if that tastes terrible and it doesn't work, then we throw that out and we'll go different. We'll try this, different frequency with this, and try and bounce it off of this, or use a RIFD blockers and put up screens and see if we can bounce certain things off of certain things and go that direction. But the biggest thing that you need is them close enough by you to get those readings off those RF meters. That's the only way you can experiment. You got to get those high readings, and they're close. They got to be within 40 yards to get those high readings. We're getting readings topping out. We emailed the company, and the email of the company said the meters just don't go any higher. That's what they came back with a reason. It would go 1, and then it would just be dash, 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 and it would just be going beep, and that's it for 15 minutes while rocks are being thrown at you. So if anybody out there is using the EMF detectors or any of this stuff and has any insight, please get a hold of Dave, get a hold of me, get a hold of anybody, because this is we're 100% behind the frequency connection. Everything, it's all in a big like we just discussed, we're all in a big frequency. We're frequency. Everything's frequency. Magnetism. I mean, without all that, what would we be? We wouldn't even be here. Atoms can't survive without, you know what I mean? So that's what we're getting hit with, is the radio frequency. We're getting hit with microwaves, damaging microwaves. They could kill you if they were high enough. Now, if you want to go even farther than that, think of the 411. What do most people do when they're out? They take their clothes off, naked. What happens when a microwave does? What does it do to your body if you're hit by microwaves? It heats you up. You get hot. What would you do? The same thing. The guy does the satellite tech says can cause hallucinations. Everything that the missing 411 cases has, this RF could be doing it. It could infrasound could be totally wrong. But again, we don't know that either, because we can't test that either.
How did you notice this? How did you notice this, though? What took you down this street? I mean, was it just one of those ideas where you heard it on TV or another show, or you just figured, you know what, let's try it out?
Well, Chris is a communications major for 30 years in the service. He's all about communications. And then once he figured out that these weren't all apes and, all that jazz, and there was something else out there, that's where it took him. And I was fortunate enough for him to teach me and show me. And we learn from each other and bounce stuff off each other now. And that's what led us down this road. So I owe it all to Chris Connor, because he opened my eyes to a whole different world. And it's working. It works. And if you work it, like they say, if you work it, you're going to get results.
What has been your most impressive result so far? Is it the communication that has increased? Is it the locations that have increased in size?
I think it's just because they're always around us now. They follow us. I can tell you, we brought Mary. Mary's the youngest one in our group. We brought her to my area is called Rock Throw Alley. And we told her before we went in there, we told her, there's spots here where there's one of them's going to leave us and one will pick us up and they'll follow us here. And then another one will branch off and they'll leave us. We didn't tell her any of the spots. She picked out every single one. She heard every single spot where they took off and the other one followed us. Every single spot on her own. not even knowing. That's how obvious they are at this spot that we go to. And they get mad if we don't go to certain areas. They'll get mad at us. They'll throw things at us. Like I had COVID, and I couldn't get to the top that one day, and the day the girls got whistled at. So for the first time, they followed us down the backside of the mountain. They never, ever did that before, ever. They wanted us at the top of that mountain. For some reason that day, they wanted us up there. And they followed us, and the girls got whistled at. Plain as day, you can hear it right on the channel. Plain as day, and you can hear me. I get so excited. I'm like, did you guys? That's a Sasquatch whistle. You know, I was so excited. I'm like, did you guys just hear? That's a lip whistle. That's a lip whistle. But the girls are hearing it, and there's no doubt in their minds of what's going on out there, and they've seen them. The girls have seen them up at Rock Throw Alley. I haven't seen them there yet, but the two girls have. Twice. So with the combination with the girls, and if we can get the right equipment, I think I'm trying to get permission now to walk the trails at night if we can, but that's that's a little hard to do. I'm still going to try, but going to go with the owl photography route that I want to walk the trails, get owl pictures. I mean, if they let us up there at night, they let us out there, but we can't camp up there. So that's the one problem we got. So
how come you can't camp up there?
State forest.
Understandable.
Yep.
Understandable.
So
with the increase in communication, are you able to find areas with this technology that maybe you would have never found before, considering before bringing out this technology?
Yes. Yep. For 100%. 100%. I know an area where we come up to because of the radio frequency that would trigger, and then they would start doing the mouth pops. You ever hear them?
I have not. Those? I haven't heard those yet.
They're right on our channel too. You can listen to the video is called An Interaction in Connecticut. And the thing goes off, and I think Shayna was behind me. I'm like, Shayna, this is the spot where the mouth pops happen. The meter just went off. Just listen to them. And sure enough, we're walking down 10 more steps, and all of a sudden they start popping at us. It's like they put their finger in their mouth and they pop it through their cheek. You know that popping noise?
Yes.
So that RF meter is huge. When that thing goes off, and it's going off for like 5 minutes at a height, something's around. Whatever it is that throws stones at you in the woods is around you. Is it a Sasquatch? I can't say it because I haven't seen it throw a stone at us yet. But I can tell you there's something that's throwing a stone at us that's giving off those readings 100%.
It's just coincidence. Would you consider it coincidence or something more, Chris?
Well, I think I don't think it's coincidence. I think they're throwing rocks, and I think they generate that RF. I think they're generating that frequency for some reason. I don't know that they need to, or it's a defense mechanism for them, or they're tracked, or they got something in them. And that's what the next story I'm going to tell you is the alarming one that I wanted to tell you about these guys maybe being tracked.
Well, let me I want to get to that in hour number 2, because that adds a whole new dimension to this ball game. But with the sound frequencies that you have you found whether or not they are able to cloak themselves, or whether they are able or not to, make themselves blurry for photographs or video footage?
Yeah. So yeah, I've never come across that yet. And we've got a ton of footage that I got to go through because we're using one of those 360 cameras now that came out, and to go through that footage in 4K is it's hours and hours and hours. And Shayna, the day that the video and interaction in Connecticut is happened 2 weeks after we were in Florida, and we had the same thing happen here in Connecticut that happened in Florida. The phones went crazy, the rocks came in, the frequency things going off, the RF meters coming off. But Shayna was holding that 360 camera up in the air the whole time it was going down. So now I have to go back and review all that stuff. So we might have something on there that you're maybe cloaked, maybe have the predator effect going. Who knows? But we'd have to dive deeper into it.
But you are convinced that you have a technique that is it bringing them forward or finding them in the area?
I think it's finding them. I don't think we're bringing them in. I think if we're bringing them in, they want to come in to see us, or they're attracted to the girls, or they're attracted to a scent somebody wears, or whatever they do, or whatever they want to see. Or I think that's what will bring them in. I think the meters are just letting us know they're there. I don't think they can bring them in. I don't think that. I don't know how it would work that way, unless we figure out the decibel range they're talking or they're using to talk to each other, and then we can tune into. Imagine that if we can come up with a program that could do that, and then we're in the same decibel range they are, and we say hey, and then they can come back with however they talk and say hey. I mean, this is just throwing stuff far out that more money than we got to try at, but can you imagine if that's the case? You could come up with a computer program and bring it out into the woods, would you? And who knows? Maybe you could communicate with them, or whatever's using that frequency level.
I can see that.
Yeah, that the satellite guy said, "Don't give up on this," and he gave us ideas. He gave us stuff to look at, or we could rent the machines to bring out in the woods. He says there are RF I don't know how you say, meters that can locate. You'd be able to go out there and locate where the RF is coming from. So you would be able to go towards that direction to see what was given off that RF. But it's expensive. They're like $12,000-$15,000, so to rent them for a weekend, I'm sure it's probably, $3,000-$4,000.
Oh yeah. And that always is the trouble that happens with our field is, us doing this as volunteers. Not all of us carry a bank account that goes along with it. So, I mean, how do you advance it? How do you push this forward? You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's difficult.
We're just going to have to use what we can, and hopefully we can get the results we need. And then we can get that one person that's going to say, hey, these guys are onto something. They're close. Let's give them the stuff they need to get it done. That's the only way I see it happening. The looking in the bushes for pictures, taking pictures of these guys, and everybody looking for the pictures that got 6 eyeballs, and they got branches coming out their ears, and maybe they are a Sasquatch, but I don't see a Sasquatch there. I see leaves, and I see tree, and I think that hurts more than it helps anything. You can't go out and get pictures of these guys every time you're in the woods. There's one picture of Patty. That is it, really. In my book, that proves anything. And how long ago now is that? Is that 60 years? Was that the 60-year anniversary she just had?
Yeah.
Really, has there been, Freeman, there's been a couple that have been close, you know what I mean? But Patty, nothing compares to Patty. I haven't seen anything compared to Patty.
The problem that we have today is nobody trusts anything. Okay. CGI is too good. People faking costumes or whatever is too good. Video editing, they've made it so a 3-year-old can do it now. I don't know if we will ever see another Patterson-Gimlin type film. I really don't, because, and even if it is out there, I know if I had it, I wouldn't release it, Chris. I mean, I would give it to researchers that I know and trust. yourself, Carter Bouchard, Nate Rudd, Bigfoot Rob, Duke Sullivan, and a number of others that I trust. I would totally give that to you guys, but to release it publicly, not a hope in hell. Why would I want my life to turn out like Patterson-Gimlin, where you're getting death threats over this? Your family is being threatened. People calling you nuts for 50 years. So you play the denial game. Fine, I didn't see it. It never happened. We lied about it all just to get people off your back. And now you start a whole new world of drama where people are like, aha, gotcha. See, you said you didn't see anything. You were lying this whole time. You
Right.
can't get away from it. And any type of financial gain would not outweigh the publicity of what living hell your life would become. It isn't worth it. It is not worth it at all.
Well, why do you think that? Because there was nothing back then that could match Patty. They couldn't make anything back then. I mean, Planet of the Apes came out back then too at the same time. There's nobody that could have made a suit with the muscle texture and the breasts and the way she walked and the she had the hemorrhage or whatever on her right leg and the how come that didn't take off? That's what I've always wondered. Why didn't people just say it's real? I mean, nobody can make a suit like that. They tried and tried and tried. Nobody could even come close.
The other thing that we have to realize too is when it comes to Patterson-Gimlin, is we got 2 minutes to go. The majority of people who are looking at that film now are looking at it with a 21st century mindset and attitude. They're not looking at it in a mid 1960s mindset and attitude, where in certain states they were still measuring women's swimsuits to make sure they weren't more than an inch above the knee.
Right.
I mean, that's how prudish society was. And I don't believe for a second that Patterson and Gimlin are going to sew a pair of breasts on this creature and say, hey, this will make it look really funny. Let's put a pair of boobs on there. I don't see that happening. I really don't. I mean, we're right before the sexual revolution as this is going on. I mean, I don't get it. I don't understand how anybody out there can argue that video is fake.
Right. No, I'm with you 100%. And why didn't it take off? Why didn't people say? I just don't understand why it didn't take off. That's the only problem. It was 100% real. I mean, you could see it, but they didn't see it like we've seen it either. They didn't see it all dressed up and, pixelated and more pixels added and seeing the breasts and seeing the way we can see it now. But come on, back then, that was still pretty darn good. I remember I used to go across the street to my buddy's house. He had the what was it, Guinness Book of World Record books. Remember, you used to get those in the white little books,
Yeah.
and it was in there. And I went over there, and I used to go over there just to see that and the picture of the B-52 bomber with the bikini babe on it. Those are the two pictures I used to go over here and see when I was a kid. But I just don't understand why to this day that's not good enough. Is that not good enough?
And that's probably why we haven't seen the next Patterson-Gimlin film revealed. That's exactly why. So Chris, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because when we come back, this whole Sasquatch information that Chris is discovering is taking a really weird path. Does it include the government? Does it include helicopters hovering over his home? What else is weird and strange? We will find out when we return with researcher from Discovering Sasquatch, Chris Reinhardt. We'll be right back on Space Now Radio for hour number 2. All right, brother, we are clear. we are going to turn this over to our main man, Dirty Fylth. That way he can tell us what he's drawing tonight, because it's been a while since Fylth has been in the hot seat. He took a sabbatical.
I'm sweating bullets here. Luckily, it just slides off my slick ball dome.
Yeah, I hear you. I'll be right back, guys.
He's going to be right back, everybody. He's going to let the dogs out. He's going to get bit by the... Yeah, he's going to get bit by the winter mosquitoes that we have in Canada, because we have winter mosquitoes. And I'm currently drawing. You guys kind of nailed it at the start of the show. Dave's like, why is it always one right foot? So I'm going to have Dogman and Sasquatch here. And Sasquatch has got this fake footprint presser. And Dogman's asking him, what's that for, Bigfoot? And Sasquatch is saying, I use this to fool the humans. It works every time. There's just going to be a whole bunch of right footprints along the bottom.
Cool.
Sometimes they kill me. It looks like a blob of garbage right now, but trust me, it'll look good at the end.
Oh, I'm sure it will. I got no doubts.
Well, how's your night going so far?
It's going good. I've been here a couple other times, but when I first started coming here, I was all flesh and blood, and that's all there was, and you couldn't change my mind. And then last year, I had something happen to me in the Green Swamp that just doesn't happen, and now I'm putting more and more of the pieces together, and it's just been too long. It's been 60 years of doing the same thing. I'm not bashing anybody in either. You know, they can have their own way of researching or investigating. They can do whatever they want, and we're going to do what we're going to do, and that's what we're going to, just share our findings, and that's all you can do. And but like I said, I'm not going to go and bash these people, and I'm not going to bash them for what they do, because I wouldn't want it done to me either, but it happens.
Well, it's okay if you make fun of them if they're a Toronto Maple Leafs fan. That's all right. Dave will allow that.
Yeah, I'm from Connecticut, so I used to be a Whalers fan.
Ooh, the Whalers, eh?
Yeah.
Oh, let my Canadian slip right there. I've been an Oilers fan forever, even through the dark ages, so it's kind of nice that they're actually not soiling themselves.
Yeah, I haven't followed hockey since then, since the Whalers left. Since we were promised if we filled up the stadium for the last season that they wouldn't leave Hartford, and all that did was get them to get sold to Carolina, and then they win the Stanley Cup 2 years later.
Yeah, you just definitely know. I just think of it as a cartoon. You see the owner of the company just fleeing on an airplane with like 4 suitcases and some sacks under his arm and money, like bills falling out the side of it and everything. And it's like, oh, my laundry's falling out all over the place. Oh, boy.
Yeah, of course,
well, did you have a spooky Halloween at least?
No, I just had retina detachment surgery, so I stayed in. I've had that 3 times in the last year, and hopefully this time it sticks.
Yikes. I had a friend that was riding his motorbike, and a grasshopper flew out and hit him in the face and detached his retina. Oh, it's the first day with my new mouth. Sorry. Yeah, and even to this day, he's kind of wonky in that eyeball.
Yeah, no, it won't always be good. I didn't do it. I went hiking and I sat back down in my truck and it detached. So I don't know what happened.
Well, it's a shame they couldn't give you, we can send ships to Mars and everything, but we can't put like a FLIR camera in someone's eyeball.
Right. Yeah, that'd be cool if you get like a bionic eyeball. That'd be really cool.
That's the
I'll
stuff
tell you
they
right
should be
now,
working on.
It hurts, that's for sure. It's not a pleasant experience. Oh, here it is.
Hi, Gene Beckett. How are you?
Hello, Dave Scott. How are you?
Hey, I'm good. I'm good.
Actually,
It's
you're
cold
Dave.
outside. Joey Hayes,
Um,
how you doing?
Got lots of snow, Dave.
We're supposed to get 10 to 20 centimeters of snow in the next 48 hours.
Yikes.
Really? You guys know already?
Yep. Hippie J, how are you? Welcome to SOR Chat. Yeah, snow already. Wonderful. Not even ready.
Not for me.
Tomorrow is gonna be a busy day for me. I got to move all my crap out that's sitting around my yard because I've been doing a bunch of renos around my house. I got to move it all and pack up everything and store it. 10 seconds. Thank you to Eric, who is our only super chatter of the night so far. Thank you so much. Super chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. Here comes hour number 2.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. We very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Eclegme. Eclegme is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. We continue on tonight with Chris Reinhardt. He is the man from Discover Sasquatch out of the Berkshire Mountains in New England, and he's found some very interesting movement, if we could call it that, through signals and sounds and tones. It's amazing, but it's working for him. And Chris, thank you so much for being here with us to explain it all to us, man.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'd like to give credit to a couple other guys too, Mr. Santoriga and also Sir Brian himself, Bowden, who these guys have been using the signals and the sounds for many a moon, and they have a lot of good info when it comes to all that too. So
our good friend Brian Bowden, who has literally about 7,882 podcasts running at once. It's amazing how he does it. Amazing. I just want to say to our audience in our chat room right now, Chris, before we move forward, we got a few questions that have piled up. I want to get to this story right off the bat here because we need to get to it before we get to audience questions. And this is regarding your findings through these signals and sounds and tones and everything has led this into a deeper conspiracy, if we could say that, regarding the legend of Sasquatch. Tell us about it.
All right. So you guys have already heard the story about, with the Ron Moorhead on the show, and we did the quantum entanglement experiment. Well, I decided to keep on going with the quantum entanglement experiment. I wasn't going to after the scratches and the kids, and but I just wanted to try it one more time and see if it would work. So I just kept on thinking, I want for you guys to get closer. I want to be closer. I want us to get closer. I want you guys to get closer with my house. I want you to get closer to me. I want you closer. And I was putting that out there for a good 2 weeks. I mean, you put it out there, you put it out there. I get home from one day from work, and Maria tells me, "Did you see Facebook?" I'm like, "No, I didn't see anything on Facebook." There was a sighting Main Street in town today. A sighting. I'm like, sighting of what? She goes, "What do you think? A sighting of what?" I'm like, she's like, a Sasquatch. A girl seen a Sasquatch run out of the woods, make some turkey gobbling noise, and disappear, and walked up the river and disappeared. Now, there's 3 years ago, there was a sighting in that same exact creek going up towards my research areas anyways. They're up there. So I'm like, wow, well, that's odd, that doesn't happen in this town. We got 11,000 people in this town. We don't even have a supermarket. We sure as hell not going to have a Sasquatch on Main Street in Winston, Connecticut. The next night, I'm sitting at home. We're just sitting at home, and Maria's like, "You know what? The weirdest thing's been going on." And I'm like, "Well, what do you mean?" She goes, I'm going outside, and she feeds every animal in the world, deer, bears. She feeds everything. Her hummingbird feeder is a glass hummingbird feeder, and it hangs from the tree in the front yard. The lid was being popped off, and it was all drank, and the feathers were all the feathers, the flowers. It's a glass one, not one of those cheap plastic ones. It was a glass one. All the flowers were all picked off and left on a pile on the ground. And this happened 4 nights in a row. On the 4th night, she got mad because we've had them here before. And like I said in the last show, they're back. They're back here. I'm like, "What do you mean they're back here?" She goes, "Well, that thing in town, and then this, and then drinking the sugar water, and now they took one of my flowers. Now they're taking her stuff. Now she's mad. The next day comes, guess what's back? The flower off of her hummingbird feeder is back. Same scenario. All the other flowers are popped off. The sugar water's drank, but now all the 5 flowers are back all together. The next night I'm sleeping in bed. I'm not sleeping. I'm up in bed like 9:30, and my grandbabies live here, and their mother's ready to give them a bath, and my bedroom's right up against the thing, and she turns on the water, and the pipes are right there, and the pipes are turned on. You hear the water. Now all of a sudden the room starts shaking. The room is shaking. I like I'm like, the pipes are gonna burst. Something's gone. So what's going on? What's going on? There's a helicopter 50 feet above my house, blacked out. No lights on, no nothing, hovering there for 10 minutes, just hovering, and then takes off. After that night, no more hummingbird water, no more hummingbird juice gone, no more flowers being picked, no more nothing. None of that was going on anymore. Are they tracked? Are they whatever came here? Because my buddy's he's an airline mechanic, and he gave me an app. And he says whatever was up in the air that night has to be registered. It's against the law for them not to be registered. There was no log of this flight of the helicopter that came over my house. And my house I live in like an apartment, an N-unit apartment, and it was literally shaking my bedroom, the helicopter. And then after that, no more Sasquatch.
Did any of your other neighbors hear this helicopter?
Oh, yeah, that was shaking the building. It was right above my building. I live in an apartment building. Yep. Plain as day, and we still can't figure it. And I asked my buddy, because he's into this too, and he goes, "There's 2 things. They're either letting you know that you're getting too close to whatever you're doing, or they knew that guy was too close to wherever he was doing, and they needed to push him out of here." He says those are only 2 things that he could come up with. Are they tracked? Is that what the radio frequency thing that we're picking up is? Are they tracked inside so deep, and it has to be that strong of a signal for us to hear? I don't know, but that's what happened, and that is, I'll take that to my grave. Everybody in this house was a witness. Everybody. And Maria was the one finding the sugar water. I had nothing to do with this again. We had like last year when I told you we had the the coyote leg left at the back door, and now we have a structure 100 feet in the woods back here, teepee structure built in between this old scoop thing or some kind of a tractor. Big, it's a Sasquatch. It's a Sasquatch structure, and they're coming here. But after that night, no more sugar water, no more nothing, just gone.
Do you think that because of your work that this Sasquatch was tracking you, and obviously maybe they got tipped off to everything that was going on and they were scaring it out? I mean, that's to me what makes the most sense.
Yeah, that's what I think too. I think it's this guy that we interacted with at my area that we call Larry's, the property that got sold. I think when I was doing this reaching out, this quantum entanglement stuff, I think he got it and he came to see me. And I think when he came to do it, and he was the one that was drinking, because just in a million years, you have a sighting in your town. I look for Sasquatch. Nobody else in my town really knows that I look for Sasquatch. Maria's sugar water's disappearing. There's flowers being left in piles on the ground. I'm getting coyote legs dumped at my back door. There's structures in my woods, and now I got black helicopters going over my house. I think 100% that the government knows what I'm doing or what's going on here or who's coming here. I just think I think it personally was a warning because it wasn't a chartered flight. I just think they're just saying basically stop what you're doing, or that we know what you're doing. But of course, this is all hearsay. This is all I can come up with. But it definitely, well, again, I'll take it to my grave. I have no reason to lie about this. I'm not going to make $20,000 by telling you that I had a helicopter flying over my house one night, shaking my bedroom while the kids were taking a bath. 100% true. I wish Maria was awake, but she would come down and tell you 100% that this all happened. So I'm all up for whatever anybody else is thinking, because it's either they're tracking these guys or they're letting me know that whatever we're doing with the frequency stuff and the other stuff that we're trying is getting close to what we shouldn't be getting close to, or I don't know.
Well, have you had any more incidents with the government or the helicopters since then?
Nope, but I've been warned by 3 other people to stop with the doing what I'm doing with the quantum stuff. I was warned by 3 people that I know but don't know, and they told me to lay off the quantum stuff, just let it be.
Why?
What it's going to lead to, I guess. More visits from the helicopter people. I don't know. It's just it's a freaky event. Anyways, you go from a sighting in town to something drinking your hummingbird sugar water, and then having a helicopter over your house all within a week. It's pretty freaky occurrence.
Well, I want to get back to when you were warned. Did you know these people who were warning you?
Yes, I know who they are. I mean, I didn't talk to them, but they're telling me to stop the entanglement stuff.
Where are they, without giving out their names, where are they in relation to the research of Sasquatch? Are they involved with it?
Oh, yes. They've been involved in it for years. Yep. 2 are up in Canada, and one's out in California.
See, I don't think you should give it up. I really don't. I don't think that helicopter was there for you at all. That's just my opinion in listening to you.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty scary to tell you that's the truth.
I'm not saying it isn't scary. I'm not saying it isn't scary at all. What I'm saying is I do believe that the government knows about these creatures. I do believe that they have an understanding of what they are and what they're all about, but I don't think it was there for you. That's just my opinion.
So what do you think, they were there for it?
Yeah. Because here's the thing. There's going to be other people in your area that have likely seen these creatures as well. Okay. And if they were reported to the police or to whomever, then that's how they would be tracked.
Right. I gotcha. But they would have had to been tracked for a while, because, I mean, they must have been following him for a while, because or did he get too close? I don't know. Well, what would they consider trackable? You know, are they too close to the neighborhoods, or are they just
maybe too close to the neighborhoods, too close to children, too close to whatever? They might not even know that you live there. They probably do, but they might not even know.
Right. But now that would be even a huger coincidence than not knowing me, you know, not knowing that I do what I do, and all of a sudden there's one here.
Oh, I'm sure they do, you know, but I don't think, from what I've heard from people on the inside, they're not tracking Sasquatch researchers as much as they would be tracking people who are heavily into ufology, who are, you know, throwing wrenches within the government's plan of their controlled narrative.
Right. I'm just a little guy on the spectrum. I'm just a blip on the screen.
Well, we all are. It's like I know this show right now is being played by someone, and there's one or two, maybe more people listening at the Pentagon and at other alphabet agencies. I know that. I've been told that. They listen to all the major shows, whether it's us or Coast to Coast or Jimmy Church or whomever the big UFO shows are. We know. We know it's happening. Right?
Yeah, it was just, and again, Maria doesn't want, it's the babies. She doesn't want them around the babies. We have babies here. She doesn't want them here. But I know a lot of people who have them at their homes and nothing goes on, and you know, I don't know. The helicopter got to me a little bit.
As it should. No offense, it should. I think it would be great if it did. But I mean, if you don't have any government officials coming up to you and saying, hey, dude, you need to stop this effective immediately, I keep going. I would keep going. Why not? It's not hurting you. It's not hurting.
Well, we'll have to see how it goes. I'm going to stay away from the quantum entanglement for a little while, though. I'm not gonna wish it out there, I don't think, for a while. That stuff works. I didn't think it would work. But like I said, the guys that won the Nobel Peace Prize this year, quantum physics, you know, they won the Nobel Peace Prize. Something's going on with all that jazz. So how would you? Say that happened to you. You know, you got little ones, and all of a sudden you got the helicopter over your house, and you had the same scenario. And what would you do? You would keep going?
Oh, here's the funny part. I have told this on the air, so it's nothing new that I haven't that I'll be saying to you. But dude, I have no problem if any government agency wants me to shut down, all they got to do is ask with a paycheck. Come with a paycheck. I'll shut her down right now. My mortgage is paid. All right.
Right. Hey, never thought about it like that.
I'll shut it down. I have no problem. Or if you want to give me a job on the Woo desk, if the Canadian government ever came up and got their crap together and got their own Woo desk going, which I do believe that they have, hey, offer me a job. I'm right there. Right there. I mean, sorry to my audience or whatever at my radio stations, but you know what? If the Woo Desk came calling and said, we're going to give you all the answers that you want, we're going to show you everything you want to see, but you got to leave SOR. I would say, how much? And if there's a dollar sign in there that pays my mortgage, I'm okay with that. I'm very okay with that. As
How
I
often,
think
how often do you think that happens? That goes down.
never.
How many people do you think are really, really close to? You got to know there's people out there that have them living in their barn. You know what I mean? And I'm not trying to be the interviewer here, but I've been thinking a lot about that lately. It's just, that there's a 75-year-old couple out there that has a family of 4 living in their barn, and they're feeding them every day, and they're going about their business. I mean,
Absolutely. I know in my area, in the Wells Gray Provincial Park or National Park here, which is an hour and a half south of me on the logging roads, that every year for the last number of years, there had been a husband and wife who would go camp in the exact same campground, the exact same area, and every year they would meet up with a Sasquatch, and they would feed it peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. I believe those interactions are happening. You get some farmer who's on top of a mountain in the middle of British Columbia or Arkansas or wherever. Okay, I really do believe that person could have a relationship with him, and hey, maybe make a deal. I'll give you 1 pig a year or 1 cow a year if you keep the wolves and the coyotes and the bears and the cougars away from my livestock, right? And if one of my animals dies, I'll leave it for you. You know what I'm saying? I'm positive that stuff happens. Why wouldn't it?
well, I agree with you. I'm starting to think that we're the foreigners on Earth. We're the ones that were planted here, and all the other Sasquatch and all the other beings that are out there, they're the ones that were here first. Oh, what do you think about that?
Good possibility. Very good possibility. I fight with that one. I totally fight with that one because I would consider myself a creationist. But I fight with that one for sure. I don't think that there's anything wrong with, that type of thinking.
Right.
Really don't.
Well, these guys don't need fire. We need fire. We can't live without fire. We can't survive you couldn't survive a Canadian winter without fire. I mean, they could. They do it. I mean, you know what I mean? I just think they've been here way longer than we have. And we were somehow manipulated. That extra twist was put into our DNA, you know what I mean?
Oh, very, very, very possible. Very, very possible. When we get back from the break, Chris, we got a bunch of questions that have been piling up here. We're going to try and get through all of them here for you guys tonight on Spaced Out Radio with Chris Reinhardt from Discover Sasquatch, who's out of New England, investigating the Berkshire Mountains and all the ranges in between. Oh, yeah, it's been an interesting show so far. This is why we love bringing Chris on Spaced Out Radio. Always a good time. Always, always, always a good time. We will return for the second half of this show right after this break, so stay tuned. Your questions and more Sasquatch talk next half hour on Spaced Out Radio. right, we're clear.
So that was pretty, like I told you, that was pretty up there, right?
Oh, and trust me, I totally understand where you are coming from. I think you have a point. Do you need to be worried? Maybe you do. I'm not saying you shouldn't or take precaution or anything like that, but I do believe that they were probably tracking the creature more so than you, and just, the creature probably found comfort in your area, and it just happened to be happenstance. That's kind of the way I'm looking at it, but I could be 100% wrong. I don't know.
Right. No, like I just said, I was asking for it that week, and that just blew my mind the way it happened. So who knows? We haven't been up to Larry's in 2 years now. We can't even get in there anymore. So I don't even know what goes on up there anymore. I wish I did. That was the spot where we were going to get answers. They were following us there. But we're pretty close now. Rock Throw Alley. You watch this coming year. If we all stay healthy, I have a pretty good feeling about that place. That we might get some pictures.
I hope so. I hope so. I really do, man.
Well, I hope somebody does. I hope somebody does.
Love to see you get it, dude. Love to see you get it.
I mean, you guys came pretty close.
Well, you got to keep trying, right?
Right. I love it. I love the outdoors. I mean, I love the hiking and I love all that. But it seems now that when we're out there, they're in tune. Like I said, they're in tune with us for some reason. They know where we're at, and they know where we're going because we're predictable. We always go the same route, always do the same thing. We always use the same whistle, so they know who's who. They know it's us. They know what they can get ahead of us, and they know where we're going. You know what I mean? And I think that's huge and part of it. So we put that with with using the whistles and the frequencies and I got a whole thing full of tuning forks I carry with me now, trying different tuning forks and bunch of stuff like that. Just letting it go. Who knows? Who knows? One of those tuning forks might just bring them right out to you, and they just might just step out and look at you. Who knows?
Right. Have your encounters since you've been doing this, have they been pretty positive?
Oh yeah, we haven't had anything negative, other than the throwing the stones, but they don't come close to us. But like I said, we weren't out that many times this year, and every time we went out, we had something go on. Dave, we got out of the car early this year, and we picked up an EVP, and it said help. And you can hear it plain as day. It's in the video. You can go to the channel again and hear it. And it goes, help. And then an hour later, pick up another EVP, and now it's a little farther away, and it says, help again, and it's the same voice. Never registered with me, but Mr. Santariga, it registered with him. He goes, you know what? And I'm like, what? It was following you guys. Whatever said help, an hour later, you're up that trail, an hour into that trail, whatever that was following you.
Mm-hmm.
That kind of gave me the little heebie-jeebies there too, because imagine if you were by yourself and something says help and you heard it, and then you go over to check it out and see what it was, and you never know. That's why I never go hiking by myself any longer.
Oh, I don't blame you. I give my buddy Mike crap about that all the time.
Yep. I mean, even if you got a snake bit, you're not going to make it out. Snake bit, you're 2.5 hours in and you get a snake bit. What are you going to do?
Oh, I agree. Fully agree with you. We got about 45 seconds here.
Well, I just hope it wasn't too crazy, people, but it definitely 100% happened, so I'm not going to hide it from nobody.
Well, I think that's a smart thing. I really do.
Well, that's how we learn.
Let's see here. Excuse me. Have you met with Robin McRae yet?
No.
You're going to want to.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Here we go. Thank you to Ollie and Eric for the super chats. Here we go. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hi to everyone tuning us in. We appreciate you. And of course, remind you that all of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Just do old Davey the favor. Hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. Chris Reinhardt, Discover Sasquatch, is here right now. Chris, we're going to get to some audience questions here for you.
Okay.
Start off with Corey. Can meditation help protect you from these creatures?
I've been learning to meditate, just to take stress out of my life and to use the chakra stones and all that stuff. And I don't know if it protects from the beings or from the bad stuff, but I've felt a lot more relaxed since we've started doing the chakra stuff. Again, this is all new to me, the frequency stuff, and but I have been doing a little bit of the meditation and a little bit of the chakra and a little bit of the healing stones, and I can tell you that it's relaxed me a little. It's definitely done something for the good better. Put it that way.
Well, that's good. That's good. Let's get to another question here. This one comes from Digger Dog. Chris, do you think that some of your team's ailments are related to your experiences?
See, there's a lot of people that tell me that they are, and then there's a lot of people that tell you that the circus is in town because you feel that way. And you can't let them people get to you. I don't know, to tell you the truth. Maria does. My wife thinks that I'm getting sick because I'm getting close, especially since we're catching this the radio frequency, high levels of the radiation. It could be Digger Dog, or it just could be that I'm getting old too. That could be part of the problem too. But to answer the question, Maria, my wife definitely thinks 100% it's because of what I do. Let's hope that I can stay healthy for this whole year, and if I don't, I probably won't be doing it after this year if I get sick again, if the same thing keeps on popping up.
Gyro is asking, have you tried different tuning forks?
Yep, I got them right back of me right here. Hold on, let's see if I can grab them. Got a whole bag of them. We try all different kinds. I carry them in a nice little leather case in my backpack. So yep, we try them all, and who knows? Like I said, you might get that one that makes them pop out and say, "Hey, here we are. What's that?" You know what I mean? That would be so cool, wouldn't that? Just hit that and go ding, and all of a sudden he comes out. Hey, then it'd be wild. So yeah, we have all different kinds of tuning forks.
Are you the only ones doing this, or have you teamed up with other teams to extend this experiment and say different areas?
We're the only ones in this area, other than Al and Brian. They use the tuning forks. Anybody else I don't know of that uses them. Only us, as far as I know.
All right. In the meantime, the rest of us are running the Facebook Marketplace to try and figure out if we can find some tuning forks there.
Yeah, but
Thanks.
make sure you look at them, because they all have different frequency levels. Some of them mean Earth, and some of them mean universe, and some of them mean health. And you want to get the right ones and match them up with your chakra stones. And there's a whole dive into it a little bit, and then you'll see what I'm saying, and then so you get the right ones.
Makes sense. All right, let's go to Love v Love here. Are Sasquatch telepathic?
Now, see, I haven't. I haven't been like out in the forest and heard them, but I've had dreams of. I had a dream of one with a white cloak over its face, saying something to me. I couldn't even tell you what it said, but it was a Sasquatch, and it had like a white robe, and only half of its face was showing, and it said something to me. But are these EVPs that are we picking up? Are these Sasquatch? Are these the ones that we're not hearing, but our recorders are picking up, or are these spirits? I don't know that either, because they're intelligent. They know our names. They're leaving us messages on our phones. Whatever it is very intelligent, and that's another scary thing. Having something out in the middle of the woods know your name, and you're not even from Florida. You know what I mean? So, and then, like I just said, that break, I was telling everybody we heard the word help, and then an hour later we heard the same voice, help, but we're an hour up the trail, and my friend made me realize that whatever was saying it was following us. It followed us for an hour, and then said help again. Are we supposed to be meant to hear that and not our recorders? I'm not too sure how to answer that question, but I haven't had the telepathic connection, I don't think, with the Sasquatch. But I know people who have, so I believe they are.
I bet you Robin McRae would blow your mind.
Yeah, well, we have to meet. You'll have to give me an email address and or whatever number, and definitely.
Yeah, definitely. We'll hook that up for you. She is very telepathic when it comes to Sasquatch. Like I could tell you point blank, my friend. She predicted everything that was going to happen when we had our sighting.
Wow, that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty nuts, but very, very cool.
That's good to have on your side too. You know what I mean?
I want to get back to what you said, something way early in the first hour about portals. You believe these creatures have the ability to create portals or just walk through portals?
I think they have the ability to walk through. I call it the veil. I don't call it a portal. I call it the veil. Whatever people call it. I think they come in and out because, again, you're 600 pounds. You're not going to leave one footprint. I don't care what you are. You're going to walk through a place that just got rained on for 30 days, and your one footprint sunk in the mud 4 inches and is size 17, and you're not going to have another footprint around. Well, what happened? You lose your legs? You floated away? I just think they're stepping in and out. They're stepping in between. And just like that area I told you earlier when we found that trackway, we stepped in my opinion, into the veil. That wasn't the same area. There was no bugs. There was no humidity. There was nothing. It was a tough day. And then in the video, the interaction in Connecticut, the 2 kids that are back at me are walking, and they go, "Hey, are you sure we are on the same trail? Are you sure we are in the same forest?" They didn't think we were in the same place, and we had interaction that whole afternoon. When we are interacting with these guys, are we stepping into their world, and it's not vice versa? Who hopefully we can figure it out, and we're gonna die trying.
That's what we love about you. That's dedication. What a good way to go through Sasquatch. That is completely for sure. In regards to the close encounters you have had and everything that goes along with that, if you were face to face with one, how would you react?
I don't know. Like, well, what's this? What's the situation? Blood dripping off of his teeth, holding someone's arm in his hand, or him looking at the path, looking at me confused and not feeling harmed in its harmed way. I guess it had to depend on the situation.
Yeah, I'm not talking about anything nefarious or anything like that.
I think I would be shocked at first. I think I would totally be stunned. But I think I would hang. What are you gonna do? You ain't gonna outrun it. You're not gonna outclimb it. You're not gonna do it. So you might as well stick there and see what happens. That's what I would do. I would just hang out and see what goes down.
Let's get to more audience questions here. And let's see what we have here. Huckleberry is asking, is there a difference between the creatures that cloak and other Bigfoot, in your opinion?
See, I don't know. That's a tough question. I don't know anything about the cloaking. I don't know if they cloak. I've never seen it. And that's how I do my stuff by my research. I can only tell you what I've experienced, and I've never experienced anything cloaking. I've heard people say that they cloak. I've heard people say they look like the Predator with that armor, or that glow in the dark armor, or whatever they got, that special stuff. But personally, I can't answer that question indefinitely because I've never seen it happen before.
Okay, let's go to Digger Dog. Chris, do you think that some of your team's ailments are related to your experiences?
I think we just had that one.
Yeah, I think we did, didn't we? Let's go to Midwest here. Have you thought of using a handheld lightning detector?
In the thunderstorm? Actually, no. We've never tried that. I have a whole my truck out back here right now has like 6 TV antennas from 1973 in them right now. So they're all shaped different ways. You know how they pick up different signals. So you know what? I'm going to pick up one, and I will let you know, Midwest Night Watchers. I will have one for this coming season, and we will definitely we'll try it out, see what happens.
Outside of this, what was your major breakthrough in 2022?
I think the girls getting whistled at and them seeing what whistled at them was the biggest thing for what happened to us. It's just because we were using what we want, we were using what we just told you. We were using the frequency, we were using the EMF detector, we were using our whistles, everything I told you that we wanted to try to do, we used that day. The girls got whistled at, and the 2 of them saw whatever whistled, and I think that was the best that happened for the team this year. For me personally, was the EVPs that we're getting. I found a deer rub, and it was deer scrape, and it was all scraped up, but right next to it, 10 feet over, was a stick that was stuck in the ground 8 inches.
Ouch.
So right across from the deer rub, got them. Then you got this, that I think that's a Sasquatch sign. But we catch the word. No, I can't now. I'm not going to be able to think of it. But it's an Indian word. It's a Native American word. And we catch it over the EVP. And I want to say it's something like au out. Oh man. But that was the best part for me, because I think they were telling me that's what it was. The Sasquatch was marking that area along with the deer scrape. They knew where the deer were coming through, so that's why they threw their stick there, and we got them. And I wish I could remember the word, but when I was talking, the voice was having a conversation with me that I wasn't hearing. It was saying what, and it was saying yeah, and it was just like that. Like I would say something and went yeah, and then it did the Native American word, and then it did a what, and that was in last video is called The Ones from Up the Road, and it's all right there. You can hear ahoo, ahoo. That's what it was, ahoo, and it's been reported a lot in Sasquatch areas, people hearing that word ahoo. If anybody's ever heard that, please let me know too. But I know 6 people that have heard ahoo in the woods, and this was plain as day EVP, and we're catching EVPs now, Dave, every time we go out. We never did before Florida. Never did before we had that experience in Florida. Now every time we go out, EVPs are on our recorders. Are we in that frequency now? Are they reaching out to us because they know we're in that frequency zone and then we can hear them? It's just another question that we're trying to figure out. You know what I mean? Who knows?
Oh, I hear you. I completely hear you. For 2022, what was your best evidence of this year?
Oh, the 5-print trackway by far. We had a knuckle print with it too. It was digging a hole with a stick, and it had its knuckle print like it was crouching like a football player. A lineman would put one hand down, and he put the other hand up ready to charge the quarterback. But the other hand, he was digging with the stick, and this was like 5 inches into the ground, the knuckle print. And you could put your hand right into the knuckle print. It fit perfectly. And that was 5 feet away from the 5 tracks. And the 5 tracks came down the woods in the straight line that they always do. And then they ended, and then there was no more tracks anywhere. We couldn't find another track anywhere, just gone again. So that was our best for, I think, for this year.
Did you feel at any point that you became close to seeing one?
I think if I could have seen, my eye wasn't messed up, I would have seen what the girl seen when we got with the whistle. That I couldn't. My right eye was just detached again, and I was out in the woods, and I couldn't. I had our brand new the Z6 camera with the 4K, and I got it in there, and I got it right up into the area where they were, and I just couldn't focus my eye in there. But I bet you I would have been able to see them if I had my eye was good.
How has before I get to this next question, how has your eyesight affected this year for you?
My eyesight ruined this year for me. With all the surgeries on my eye, I couldn't get out in the woods that much, and then when I could, I couldn't see that well. My glasses were like this thick,
right?
And so definitely.
Do you think that there are any government agencies that are following Sasquatch?
After the helicopter, I would imagine.
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
Yeah.
And let's get to Rico's question here. What are your thoughts, Chris, on the Kreider Lodge expedition? I understand there may be some MDA in place, but your discovery or opinion should not apply.
I don't talk about it. Chris Connor don't talk about it. just don't talk about the expedition at all. I'm sorry. It's just the way it is. Sometimes it's just better to walk away from a situation. And that's what we did. We walked away, and so I'm sorry I can't answer, but it's just the way it is. I apologize for that, but
where do you see this sound and tones and frequency going for 2023?
if everything goes the way I want it to go this coming year, I think we're going to have some extraordinary evidence. We're going to have some extraordinary data. We are building a parabolic right now with new technology that's out that nobody's using. And I'll talk to you a little bit about it after the show, because I'm gonna make a video. Everybody, I'll put it this way: I'm building the parabolic, and everybody's gonna see what I'm using. I'm not gonna keep it a secret. I'm not telling anybody what it is right now, but it's a new technology that's out there that you're gonna be able to pick up. Believe me, it's a game changer, as in the audio field, and I'm gonna share it with everybody as soon as that's done. So that's what we're focusing on. I think audio is huge.
What kind of audio?
Well, the parabolica, where we want to catch when we send out what we're going to send out, we want to see what we're going to get back, and this uses a certain wave. I'll explain to you after, a certain frequency wavelength thing that will pick it up, whether it's too soft or it's too loud, and you'll be able to take it into post, and you'll be able to make it crystal clear without overdubbing it or nothing. It'll sound like it came from 3 feet in front of you, and nobody's using it. And that's what I'm going to be working on next. So
it is awesome. It is awesome. We just got to get you up here on the West Coast one of these days.
Oh, I would love to get up there. I love to travel and go all over the place and see things, meet new people.
Are you afraid if the UFOs start coming?
I've seen the UFO. Maria and I seen the UFO 3 years ago.
No, but I mean, like during a Sasquatch investigation.
I just, like I said, I think they're all tied in. I think your chances of seeing them together are great. Like I just don't know. I wouldn't doubt it. What I want to know is what the Dogmen are. That's what I'm more interested in. I got a pretty, I know what the UFOs and, the book fed up, but what are these Dogmen things? Are these spirit animals? Are these real animals? Are these wolfmen? Or are these evil things? I've heard so many stories about these guys lately, and I'd like to know what they are.
Oh, yeah. That's the only one that really scares me.
Yeah, no, I think they're evil. Personally, I think they're evil. But are they real, or are they spirits? Are they I don't know.
Well,
I don't want to come. I don't want to see one of those. We'll put it that way.
30 seconds. Do us a favor. Tell everybody where they can find your work and get in touch with you.
You can discover Sasquatch at gmail.com. Discover Sasquatch at Facebook. Discover Sasquatch at YouTube on YouTube. Discover Sasquatch on Instagram, and Discover Sasquatch at TikTok. You can find us all right there on Discover Sasquatch.
All right. Well, it's always been a pleasure to have you on the show. This one is another great one in the books, Chris Reinhardt from Discover Sasquatch. Keep doing the right work. Keep reporting. Keep going after them. And if the helicopters keep coming, well, make sure that you charge them. Autograph time. Personal time. Damn paparazzi and Sasquatch. Coming up next, Swamp Dweller. Then our resident Timbit brings us a UFO report. We're clear, buddy. We are clear.
Well, thank you for having me. It was great.
No problem, bud. No problem. And anytime you want to come on, you just let us know.
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry I couldn't answer that one question, but that's for another conversation.
Yeah. Hi, sweet Tony D. Well, what I'll do is I'll message you with Robin McCrae, her information. And it's going to sound like Deep Woods Woo, but just trust me on this one, okay?
Well, I don't doubt anything anymore, believe me.
Yeah.
Whatever happens, I report. That's all you can do. And like I said, I'm getting called like the circus is in town when people are talking to me and blah, blah, blah. But you know what? I'm getting farther than these guys have gotten in 30 years and 7 years.
I hear you.
We'll see what happens.
All right, brother. We'll let you go. You take care, and we'll talk soon, okay?
All right. Yep. I'll email you about that thing that I'm building too.
Okay, good.
All right.
All right. Chris Reinhardt, everybody. And let's turn it over to Dirty Fylth as he takes over our cartoon of the night.
See, look at that, Dave.
That's beauty. That's a beauty.
You guys talked about it at the start of the show, and that's what my plan was, and somehow you guys read my brain. Aliens.
It's always aliens. Break it down.
It's always
buddy.
aliens. Well, maybe not 100% of the time. Well, geez, I guess I can work on my other cartoon that I got here. Where the hell I put the damn thing? I think I lost it. This is the problem when you organize everything and put stuff in order. You can't find anything afterwards. It's kind of a curse, really. Well, we'll entertain you in the meantime here. Color in my vampire thing that I was going to do. Because I drew a vampire during Halloween time. I never actually went through and finished up with my cheat notes here. You can see all the different speech balloons for all the characters and everything. So you have to have consistency. It's not only radical brown dwarf, it's also tubular. Look at me, guy who will live in California with that kind of lingo. Well, anyways, vampires red, or black and red. Anyways, apparently we didn't get any UFOs, but I guess Tim will talk about that. I don't want to go into that too much. I was kind of hoping that the government would have been like, yeah, we got UFOs on last Friday, and then everyone could have just carried on and not cared, and then had Halloween, and, you know, but that didn't work out, so whatever. The point is, we rolling dice this weekend, and that's awesome. You guys are at my mercy. Listen to my rambling. That's the vampire one. And the moose juice. And I never actually finished the UFO taco, did I? I did not. They only offer one style of UFO taco. It's just like plain white one. It's like the discount taco place.
Way to go, Dirty. You're just so dirty.
You know, I had another thing I was going to draw here, Dave, but I
Do
can't find it and I lost it. So,
Oh, no.
yeah, guess I'll just save it till tomorrow. This is my super cheat sheet, by the way, Dave.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody needs their super cheat sheet.
Well, it's
You know what you need to do
David,
for
he's
Tim
cheating.
Senor? You know what you need to do for Tim Senor when you start drawing him in? You have to draw him as a Timbit.
I don't know about that, Dave. I'm not a big Tim Hortons fan.
Well, we're not talking about Tim Hortons. We're talking about Tim Senor.
Yeah, but it's the Timbit thing.
Oh, let it go. Let it go. Come on, Elsa.
Could I not do like a Robin's Donuts type thing?
No, they closed down years ago.
No, they didn't. They're still in Saskatchewan. Say that 3 times fast, Americans.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Thank you
to Eric, Ollie, and Steven for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate the love. And everybody who's given us a thumbs up, thumbs down, appreciate it. Don't forget after the show to leave a comment. It really helps with our algorithms. Here comes hour number 3.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for tuning us in. We love bringing the woo to you on a nightly basis, so glad you're enjoying it. Want to say hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America and digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Eclegme. Eclegme is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. It is time once again where we head to the swamp. Our resident swamp dweller brings us on another spooky journey.
Hi, Spaced Out Radio listeners. This is Swamp Dweller. It's time for your nightly dose of spookiness on the show. If you have an interesting encounter or a spooky story that you would like to share, be sure to submit them in at swampdweller.net. You can also find our YouTube channel at youtube.com/swampdwellerreads. Now, let's chill out, relax, and together, let's enter the swamp. Edward Smith and Kimberly Levine were both accountants who worked in Kent, Washington. They were accountants for the government, to be specific. They had moved there shortly after graduating from the University of Southeastern Massachusetts. They were engaged to be married as well, but sadly, that day would never come. On March 9th, 1985, they went for a weekend getaway in Grant County off of I-9. They had planned to explore the area's scenery and landmarks, but unfortunately this endeavor would prove to be a fatal mistake. The next day, Edward's body was found in a gravel pit. His hands were tied behind his back, his throat was slit, and his wallet was missing. Without his wallet, the police were not able to positively ID him very quickly, and he would not be identified until his employer would mark him as a missing person. A major search for Kimberly ensued. But unfortunately, the next clue in this story wouldn't be uncovered for over 2 weeks. That's when the couple's vehicle was found 10 miles away from where the last body was found. Investigators were able to recover a fingerprint from the vehicle. It didn't match either of the 2 missing people, but unfortunately there was still no sign of Kimberly anywhere. Her skeletonized remains weren't even discovered until the next August, where she was found in some sagebrush about 2 miles away from where her fiancé was located originally. One interesting note to consider in this particular case is that the Night Stalker was plaguing California at this very specific time, not very far away from this location. Reports of his killings made national news at the time, of course. While the cases are clearly not connected, others have noted certain similarities and believe that it may be possible that the Night Stalker could have had something to do with this. But like I said, it's probably very unlikely. But an interesting thing to take into account here is these killings and all the subsequent killings we're going to cover could have easily been committed by somebody trying to emulate Richard Ramirez. August of 1985 is also when a couple from Tacoma, Washington, Steve Harkins and Ruth Cooper, enter our story. On August 10th, the couple took their dog to Teal Lake for a weekend camping trip. But come Monday, when they failed to show up at work or contact any family members, they were subsequently reported missing by their families. Both of them worked at the same vocational school, so it was quickly noticed when they both didn't show up for work. 4 days later, hikers passing through Pierce County found, unfortunately, the remains of Harkin's body near a remote campsite. Steve, who was only 27 years old at the time, same age as your good boy Swamp Dweller here, was shot in the head. He was still inside of his sleeping bag, so it's fairly safe to say he was killed while he was asleep. Unfortunately, their dog was also found deceased nearby, but there was no sign of 42-year-old Ruth Cooper until October 26th. When her dental records matched a skull found on 8th Avenue. 2 days later, her purse and the rest of her body were found in the same area. They were nearly skeletonized and without clothing. A tube sock had been tied around her neck. Though the autopsy report would show that she would die from homicidal violence, a spokesperson would later say that she died from a gunshot wound to the abdomen. The police believe the tube sock was used more as a restraint rather than a way of killing somebody. Needless to say, it would be impossible not to wonder if this case would somehow interact or intertwine with the last couple that we had just talked about. But unfortunately, with no leads and no possible suspects, the police would continue to scramble. Then, in December, police were forced to contend once again with another situation that could tie in to the Cooper and Harkin disappearance and murder. Many, at the very least, believed all three of these killings were committed by the same person.
You never know who is out there hunting us down. That's why we love the Swamp Dweller, bringing us the spooky scariness that life has to offer. And every Monday through Friday night, kicking off hour 3 on Spaced Out Radio, we have Swamp Dweller coming in. You can hear thousands of these stories for free. All you need to do is go to his YouTube channel, youtube.com/Swamp Dweller Reads. Hit subscribe on that channel and help yourself out to a big dose of spookiness. All right, it is that time of the night where we bring in little Timmy Senor, we call him the Timbit around here, for tonight's UFO report.
Nobody's gonna know. They're gonna know.
Yes, little Timmy Senor, it's always a pleasure to have you back here on Spaced Out Radio, where we get into everything real interesting when it comes to UFOs. And, the news seems to be picking up again as we wait for the congressional report to come out. We all thought it was coming out on Halloween. It did not. It's now Halloween +2. Is this thing coming out or what?
Yeah, so my understanding is, hi Dave, good to see you. Hello everyone out there. So my understanding is it was actually given to Congress, the obviously the version that we won't see, but it was, I believe, given to them on Wednesday, and so we can hopefully see our version this coming Wednesday. And so there's a brand new report, an exclusive, in fact, that was updated by the Daily Mail. And so if you want me to just jump right into it, it's pretty interesting stuff.
Let's do it. Let's get
All
right
right.
into it.
So the new classified report to Congress says only half of the UFO sightings can properly be explained, and nearly 200 mysteries unsolved. And so, as critics say, investigators glossed over all of the unknown cases. And so, news sources are telling the Daily Mail that a classified report due to be sent to Congress this week now lists more than 150 cases of unexplained UFO encounters in this past year. And so this new 22-page report will be compiled by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence, the ODNI, and analyzes 366 new cases. And only about half of these UFO encounters could be explained. So the examples include video shot by Reaper drones conducting surveillance that caught orbs flying around and then suddenly bolting off. Among the explained cases are brand new surveillance by foreign adversaries, including Chinese spy drones, attempting to gather information on the US. And so the ODNI report was critical of their department's dossier, saying that it only glossed over many of the intriguing and worrying unexplained cases. They don't want to talk about this stuff because they really don't know what exactly they are, and that's the truth, and that's coming directly from this news source.
It's so true. It's so true.
Right. And so this classified report due to be sent to Congress Monday, believed to be actually released on Wednesday, lists more than 150 cases of unexplained UFO encounters by military and government officials in the past year. And so I'll just breeze down here to some of the interesting points in this great article, because some of these examples are including video shot by Reaper drones conducting surveillance in the Middle East that caught interesting quote unquote orbs flying around and then suddenly bolting off the screen. And so others, an ODNI source said, are similar to the famous encounters by Navy F-18 pilots who saw, filmed, and registered on radar the quote-unquote tic-tac and gimbal shaped craft flitting near trained areas off the U.S. east and west coasts, moving at supersonic speeds and performing incredible maneuvers with no apparent means of propulsion. And so some cases have had explanations, but a lot of them haven't. And among these are the brand new surveilled by foreign adversaries, obviously. So part of their investigation has recovered some information about our adversaries. So it's still great research to be conducting because it's definitely ruling things out. And so what it's leaving us is with 150 cases of unexplained UFO encounters in this past year. And so the Deputy Director of Naval Intelligence, Scott Bray, plays a video and shows a lot of this to Congress in this upcoming, and just as he did back in May. And so he will be showing more of these videos in the upcoming release and report. And hopefully we will see ours as soon as next week. But I found that an interesting portion of this is that the U.S. Navy filmed that pyramid, quote unquote, shaped UFO. Well, the new report brings out that the examples in this report include a video shot by the same Reaper drones conducting surveillance. So it's actually, capturing orbs and other interesting things. So a lot of questions being answered and some new ones being drawn. But Dave, we're getting a little bit of insight here. We may be getting this report sooner than later.
Well, I mean, what's concerning for me is going to be the lack of video footage for the public. And in the end, that's what I care about. Tim, is there any news out there on whether or not any of these new videos will get to the public, especially after the United States Navy stated that they were not going to be releasing any more videos?
Yeah, and so a public version of the report stripped of the classified information is due to be published by the ODNI Monday. We'll probably see it as soon as hopefully next Wednesday. But sources say both the classified and unclassified versions have been delayed just for a couple of days. And so they do discuss that some of the new videos will be released, and it is part of the National Defense Authorization Act that part of this government transparency of the unexplained phenomenon in our airspace will be released both on the classified and unclassified report versions. And so we may not see information on the entire 366 cases or even the 150 that are unexplained, but we'll probably get some of the highlights. And so you may have some different information than I do, but perhaps some of this new dossier is going to include some cases from intelligence outside of our US borders. Do you have any information on that?
Well, I do find it interesting that they are going outside of U.S. borders and into battle areas. I mean, especially after Avi Loeb, shot down what was being seen in Ukraine and in Russia there during what the Ukrainian Defense Agency stated was UFOs over their battlefield. And then the Middle East is still a hotbed of action as well. I mean, it may not be as public as it is, but as long as there's troops there, there's going to be some sort of trouble, and I just find it funny that they're trying to make this a world issue now, that they're being seen all over the world rather than just in the United States. But I'm very curious to see, Tim, what, if anything, they do release video footage wise. Is it going to be anything? As the Navy basically said, they're not playing ball anymore. They don't want to, and I know Bob McGuire has stated on this show that the Navy has no choice because of what was brought into legislation. But I think they're going to fight that. I mean, I think whatever we see, if there is new videos, it's going to be so grainy and so salty that it's just going to cause an uproar of disbelief in the entire phenomena once again. And I think that's what the Navy wants. They don't want this going public. Why? We don't know. There's a real ego about it for some reason.
Yeah, and I think we can expect to see a lot of the debunkers, if you will, the Avi Loebs that are going to come out with the very easy, simple, quick answers to things that maybe are the low-lying fruit, perhaps. But again, we need to highlight the 150. I mean, it really only needs to be one, right? That they have good evidence or good information on that is completely, without a doubt, not ours. And that would really be something interesting. And that's hopefully what the public gets. But when we saw this, maybe prelude to this, with Avi being asked by an ODNI representative his opinion on what was going on over the Ukraine, and he gave his response as something very mundane. And he gave his response quite quickly. Again, and maybe not to the extent and depth that we would expect from a scientist. But perhaps this is the sort of information we're going to see on the low-lying fruit. And then again, we'll see something more interesting come. At least, like I said, we only need one case and one new video that's interesting. And to further on this quote, we don't give a quote unquote crap about the ones that they've resolved. Yeah, there's balloons up there, and balloons are sometimes mistaken for UAP, but there are tons of classified videos that are profound and pretty clear. And they don't want to talk about this stuff because they're really, really in the dark and they don't know what the hell they are. And that's the truth. The classified report has been sent to the armed services, appropriations, foreign affairs or relations, and intelligence committees of the House and Senate. And so everyone is discussing this and nobody knows. And now I'm sure even giving them more data just probably draws them more into the gray because, unless they've got something very clear and definitive, it's always up to the eye of the beholder. It really is.
See, this whole thing that they don't know what is going on, I have a brutal time in accepting that. To me, that just sounds like complete hogwash. It's like catching your child lying to you about their report card, and your report card or their report card is sitting in your hand, and you're seeing the C's and D's and the fails. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I just don't trust it. I don't trust it. Don Schmidt was saying earlier, and I thank Nicole Sakic for tipping me off to this. Don Schmidt was saying earlier on another show that, we're not in this disclosure movement. This isn't disclosure. And the more that the government fights it, we need to figure out, that they need to figure out what is going on. You've known since Roswell, and you're making people like me sound like a broken record.
That's right.
Rather than just telling the truth.
Yeah, and you've got former Navy Lieutenant, for example, Ryan Graves, regularly witnessed UFOs in restricted airspaces, come out over and over publicly talking about this. The ODNI source said that there are dozens of classified UFO videos on government servers filmed by the MQ-9 Reaper drones abroad. And in this quote, in this new article, these drones operate at 20 to 25,000 feet up in the air, and they're flying around, keeping an eye on bad guys all over the world. And an operator will be zoomed in, looking down in a town in Syria, and all of a sudden a little orb will just go flying through the viewfinder. And the operator's like, what the hell? And so he starts focusing in on it, and he just watches the orb for a while. He might get it for 30 seconds. We might watch it for 10 minutes. And then it'll do something remarkable, like suddenly bolt off the screen. One tape seen by one source shows a UFO diving into the ocean without making a splash. There's some pretty spectacular videos. And so the ODNI source was critical of the department's dossier, saying it just glossed over many of the intriguing and worrying unexplained cases, but it was not as detailed as you might hope. It spent a lot of time jumping into the foreign surveillance that was discovered, and which has nothing to do with UAPs, but there's a lot of attention to that, and just about nothing to the other 49% that were not resolved.
I mean, are you surprised now that it's a 50-50, that 50% they've been able to solve and 50% they aren't, considering in the original report they were only able to solve one of the 140 cases?
Right. I mean, I am surprised, and what that actually tells me is they didn't have enough people working for them to get them all resolved, because you would probably imagine they would have liked it to be a lot lower number than that. But I was pleased with 50%, to be completely honest, because that puts a big question mark up for the people that are reading this. So, I mean, that is a glaring percent to anybody, even to the people that are going to be reading this report in Congress or in the public domain. Even if they do focus on the fact that, all these cases are our enemies and look at what we discovered, even if they focus on that, the public's going to be aware of that other 49%. That is a massive amount of unexplained unknowns. And some of the people that are now going to be brought out, hopefully in these public hearings, if they're protected by these NDAs and these disclosures being protected, so the whistleblowers will be able to come forward, we're going to have a lot of corroboration of this information. It's going to become pretty undeniable. That 49% is going to become a much bigger, glaring amount of information very soon.
Well, I mean, it's also going to see, too, once this report comes out, and this might be completely different, but it also is going to be very interesting to see how much Lou Elizondo goes public with it. The last report that we had, Elizondo was all over the place. Now that we know he's a part of Space Force and doing tracking for them regarding unidentified UFOs, it's going to be very interesting to see how public he gets this time with everything. Tim, I'm going to get you to hold on right there, because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. And when we return, James Fox, filmmaker, claims there's actually a video of aliens down in Brazil. We'll find out more from our resident Timbit. The UFO talk continues with Tim Seymour on the UFO Report when we return for the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio. You're not going to want to miss this, so stay tuned. We'll be right back. All right, we're clear.
How you doing today?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Can't wait
Good.
to hit the gym tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a little home gym. It's actually saved me a lot of time. It's nothing fancy.
You're a home gym kind of guy.
I am. Yeah. Do it while I'm on the phone and whatnot. It's probably pretty annoying hearing that thing clang in the background, but it allows me to multitask.
This is awesome. Nice compliment from Aiden. Tim, my favorite segment of the show yet. Thank you, Dave. Hey, guess who's in the chat room? Super Duke. Super Duke.
Awesome.
Wow, the Loot Rebel. Welcome back. Oob to Joe's Main. Hi, LGG. I just want some transparency, man. That's all I want. And it's too much to ask.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's an annual report, so maybe after the 5th, people start getting the message. Maybe we'll have a nice collection of data by then in, that realm. It's going to be a long haul. It's not going to come quick. Definitely.
Oh, I hear you.
But this article from Josh Boswell through the Daily Mail is really great. I recommend everyone goes and hits it for all the details. If you're really curious about what they might think will be in this report or what some insiders think is in it.
It's always about the insiders.
Got to have a couple in your pocket, right?
Right?
Right? Eh? Hey, Dirty Fylth. Great cartoon today. That was brilliant.
Yeah, he already left.
Yeah, he did, but he might be in the chat, which I don't have up, by the way, audience. I rarely keep the chat up because my computer can't handle it. And I can't multitask that well.
Time for a new computer.
Well, it's distracting to read the chat as well.
I
don't know how you do it.
I don't.
You're a professional.
I don't.
Man, what a Halloween. We had such a good time. Did you guys have a blast? I mean, we did talk about it, but we're still recovering here.
We had so much fun.
The candy coma.
I haven't even seen my son's stash yet. I don't know where he's hiding it.
I checked all my kids' candy. Once it was kosher, it disappeared. I did the dad check, and then they squirreled it away somewhere. It's adorable. Yeah, we gave out full size this year. It was hilarious. The reactions you get from kids is adorable. When you place that little thing in their bin or whatever, their little eyes just pop right out of their heads. It's
whoa, yeah.
Full size, what?
Oh, we hit the good house this year.
Yeah, and the message gets around the neighborhood. All of a sudden, you got a crowd out there. You walk out there like Godfather.
Up here in our town, there's still kids 18, 19 years old that go trick-or-treating.
For sure, here too.
I think it's great.
Me too.
I remember when I was like 16, 17, it's kind of frowned upon, as a small kids thing.
Yeah.
But I'm pissed off, Tim. Pissed off. Evan Walters is late again.
Dang it, Evan.
Pissing me off, Evan Walters. Pissing me off.
Need to set
Gnome
an alarm.
Squatch, how are you?
Let him off with a warning this time. I think he'll be all right, Evan.
I don't know. 20 seconds. Thank you to Stephen, Ollie, and Eric for the super chats tonight. Very much appreciate the love. Don't forget, give us a thumbs up, thumbs down if you haven't already. After the show, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. And we're about 5 seconds away. And don't forget to go shopping at our store as well. We'll be right back now. Round of third, we're heading for home tonight on Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website is spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read Shirky Poo's Newswire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on TikTok at Spaced Out Radio. All right. We bring in Tim Senor again with the UFO report. And apparently, Tim, James Fox, film director, who just released another one about Virginia, or I always pronounce that wrong, Varisia or somewhere like that in Brazil. Virginia. Yeah. You know, apparently there's a video out there that for a certain price tag you will be shown, which actually shows aliens from this UFO event. You got more on this?
I do have more. And so James Fox's recent filmmaking Contact is the center of a lot of intrigue right now in the UFO community. And so the centerpiece of the film is an interview with an anonymous whistleblower dubbed Military X, who claims to have been involved in transporting the body of the creature from Humanitas Hospital in Virginia to the ESA Army base. And he says, I quote, and here's the quote, "I saw a box, a stainless steel table with a box. There were doctors, people carrying clipboards and analyzing. It looked like they all had seemed scared of it. And when I looked, I saw something different, a different creature with skin very oily, a lot of oil like silicone. And seeing that, I got scared." And so Military X continues and told Fox that one soldier present had a film camera and that there was for sure video in possession of the government. And he goes on to quote here that what caught his attention finally he saw was a foot. And he said it was like this V-shaped, practically 2 fingers, what led me to believe that it wasn't human being and it was something else. And so the filmmakers also spoke with a former Brazilian Air Force traffic controller who claimed the U.S. Air Force landed unannounced in the Campinas and dispatched 2 helicopters to Virginia, where they collected something and took it away. So we continue here with the documentary ending with a message stating the filmmakers continue to pursue this video and photographic evidence, which the investigations conclude definitely exists in Brazil. And according to local military and civilian witnesses, the bodies and crash debris were appropriated by agents from the US of A. So he's very close to discovering this, and in recent tweets has been hinting that we may be getting something any minute. And in a quote, he says there will be details coming soon, very soon. Very cryptic, but hopefully that means he's had the means to acquire this video, which I'm seeing now here in the further quote. He has personally spoken to, this is folks from the filmmaker Fox. I've personally spoken to 3 witnesses in Brazil that claim to have seen photographic evidence, both video and stills. And he said, when asked about the rumors of the alleged 35-second video of the creature, he is saying behind the scenes that he's told this film has already made the rounds on Capitol Hill. Interesting.
Wow. See, that's what needs to be released. If that video makes it to Capitol Hill, now I have heard 2 different price tags on this video. One, $200,000. The other one, $1 million plus.
Right. But doesn't this just reek of the very first time we saw something very similar come in the form of an alien autopsy video from a very mysterious source in Italy that, we later find out it was a remake, that the filmmaker had remade a film to look like a film he had seen. And so it's a generation away always, and we never get that original. And so hopefully this time we do. Everyone should just remain neutral until we get the evidence, but it would be fantastic either way to put a closure on that case, because his film Making Contact was extremely compelling, and I liked the way that he presented all of the information in kind of an investigative reporter kind of way, where you saw kind of the investigation taking place. So it was a really great film. And if he could complete that with this piece of evidence, it'll be incredible.
Well, we can only hope, my friend. We can only hope that it continues on, and James continues to bring the power to the documentary scene. Let's go to your third topic of the night, where I'm going to assume Tom DeLonge of Blink 182 is about to make a film on UFOs, because I don't think it's Travis Barker or Mark Hoppus.
That's right. So Blink 182 is announcing their worldwide reunion tour, new music, and they're going to include a film called Monsters of California. And it's co-written by DeLonge and Ian Miller, and is produced through DeLonge's To the Stars Media. And so it's going to be starring Jack Sampson from Zodiac and Camille Kostak from Free Guy, Casper Van Dien from Salvage Marines, and Richard Kind. So they've already got from The Watcher. And so they've already got this in the works, if not already in the can for that matter. And it looks like DeLonge himself recently announced his return to the multi-platinum rock band Blink 182, as well as the upcoming new album, worldwide tour, and film. So a little bit of information about the film itself, because I do have some of the details if you're interested.
Please.
Okay, so let's see. Right here, I had it. Of course, it jumps around. There's nothing I can do about it. So it looks like it was going to be about the debut of a young man who is realizing the reality of the phenomenon and how it integrates into his life, which is pretty vague, but that's only because I'm remembering it from memory, and I'm not actually seeing the quotes here because I completely lost the article. But
well, I mean, look, we knew Tom DeLonge was going to do something here, okay? We knew he wasn't going to be silent forever.
Right.
Regarding this topic. He wants as much credibility as possible. And like I even said, even though over the years I've been very hard on Tom DeLonge, I think that going back out on tour with Blink 182 is a great way to get the voice of UFOs back out there to the public.
Yeah. And so my quote of what it's about is exactly correct. I did find it, except that it's events in the Southern California area. And I totally agree with you. And he's an extremely creative person. And, I'm glad that he did his investigation into this. He learned a lot. It's kind of, I relate to it in a lot of ways. I'm totally new to this, and I'm learning a ton. And I'm also somebody that loves the film industry, and it's totally shifted me into shooting on this topics, you know, exclusively. So I completely understand that, and he'll probably express it in his music as well, because he sounds pretty passionate, I must say, about this topic. And so, yeah, Dave, your thoughts. I see you fading, buddy. I know you're tired tonight.
No,
Thanks for staying up with me.
no, I'm doing some thinking here.
Yeah.
I'm doing some thinking here because, look, I want to definitely see this go on. I definitely want to see, Tom get into, really promoting the whole UFO aspect, okay, in a positive way, because I mean, it was such a cluster mess with TTSA. It really was.
Yeah, and didn't we have some famous filmmakers and musicians that secretly worked for our country through the CIA, disseminating information to our country and to other countries? I mean, wasn't there some, conspiracy theories behind Elvis Presley being part of, this CIA network of spies, if you will? I mean, who knows if it's true or not, but just the fact that now we're having another personality kind of take the reins on this topic and then immediately go on a world tour, it just feels very much in sync with, how this topic of disclosure is moving, and the wind in his sails on this topic, and how potentially he has been reached by people in the know to take this message around the world.
Oh, I agree. I fully agree. And I want to see, like I said, I want to see what kind of reaction Tom is going to get. Does he try his BS and say that he's the dude behind the To the Stars Academy when we know that he was pretty much just labeled as a patsy?
Well, we know
Okay.
that this new film is being produced by the To the Stars media, right? So obviously he's platforming that in some ownership, because it is that team of media people that are producing that film and are probably now attached to Blink 182, in this world tour, would be my thought.
Yeah, and I hope it goes. I really do hope it goes. I want it to go. I want it to be something that is helpful to everybody. I really do. Can we get it there? I don't know. I really don't. It just seems to be completely, lack of a better term, inept for what we are doing.
Yeah. Yeah, I have a quick question for you. Were you made aware of the new witness from the USS Nimitz encounter that came forward talking about a black triangle that was emerging from the sea?
No, I haven't heard that one yet.
Do you mind if I just kick this
Yeah.
one off very quickly? Because there's a new witness out. His name is Kevin Thomas. And again, I did bring it up a little bit earlier in the year, because this isn't a new witness particularly, except now it's kind of been talked about a little bit more. So he was a separate witness that actually was trapped out on board after everyone had been called to quarters. And so he was one of the only people left out on deck when everyone else was below deck. And so while he was out there, and while they were capturing the Tic Tac footage, this was around the same time that the two pilots were out capturing that Tic Tac shaped UFO in 2004. We had Kevin Thomas out on deck all by himself, and what he saw was a big black shiny triangle where it came out of the water and just hovered there. And he said it was the same size as the destroyer, and I'm sorry, the carrier. And to his astonishment, it didn't have any water shedding off of it. It just appeared to hover there, motionless. And so this new report is incredible. And you can catch the full report actually in a series called Contact. So I hope people go there and check it out, because it's a pretty heavy hitting witness, and it's an important aspect to that encounter that I don't think too many people are familiar with.
No, and I agree with you on that. And, it's just something we're going to have to watch, Tim. It's
Mhm.
something that we're going to have to watch a little bit closer, as we move forward. But, I mean, should we be surprised by anything anymore? I mean, really, do we need to be surprised by anything that we see anymore? I don't think we do. I think the game is in full swing, and I don't think it's pretty. And you know what? I could go off on another tangent again. I don't think we need to, but it just one of those things, Tim. It's one of those things where we're going to continue to scramble and go in circles until we get some straight answers, and there are no straight answers. That's everybody's teasing. This is another thing that I don't like. Everybody's teasing. We got James Fox teasing us about this alien video. We got new videos being teased by Congress now. We got, everything is a big tease.
Right.
At what point, at what point do you just say enough is enough? And I think that's where I'm finding my frustration, right? That's where I'm finding my frustration, is that I just don't see it. I'm tired of it never coming to fruition. That's what I don't like.
Yeah, I completely understand that. And it sounds like just more and more whistleblowers are going to come forward, hopefully. And, people like Kevin and others that hopefully can present directly to Congress at some point here, as soon as they release whistleblowers from their NDAs. And I feel like that's going to be an important aspect here. Now, we may not have the usual gang of suspects here. We may not have Sean Cahill and Lou Elizondo. We may not hear from everyone else up on the Hill, but we know what real disclosure is. It's up to each one of us, right? We already know what we're pushing for, which is the truth and transparency. And now we demand it from everyone else. And so it's a trickle down. We kind of have to lead by example here. We've been given the tools. Lou Elizondo has told us it's the long haul. Don't expect everything just to be like given to you, right? But it's these little nuggets. It's the fact that we just got some disclosure just the other day when we get the head of the FBI talking about Roswell. That's a nugget, right? We've got great video coming and being presented to Congress, new video every year now. That's going to be a big chunk, but we shouldn't expect that to be necessarily the one and only path. It needs to be a bunch of things. And like I said, it's actually up to us to carry this forward. We can't wait for Lou to tell us the way to do it, or anybody in particular for that matter. It's up to each one of us, right? It's up to you, Dave. It's up to me to figure out our own truth, and then tell somebody else, maybe tell them how to figure it out, because it's just going to be one of those things that we have to learn on our own for ourselves.
Oh, I agree. But how much BS do we have to put through in order to get there? That's the tough part.
Yeah.
That's the tough part. That's the part. Tim, we might as well keep going. We only got about 2.5 minutes left,
Oh, okay.
Regarding this. But I mean, people's frustrations are going to go through. And maybe, Tim, that's what they're playing on right now. Maybe that's what they're playing on, is knowing that if they keep the tease up, if they keep making promises and over-promising and under-delivering, that eventually people will get so frustrated that they'll just say, you know what, we're done. We're done.
Lose interest.
We've lost interest, and that's enough. Bye-bye. We're out of here.
Yeah.
I mean, what's the possibility of that?
Well, I think a great film came out a long time ago with Robert De Niro called Wag the Dog. I mean, talk about the playbook for the government in controlling the narrative on something through the media. That movie Wag the Dog just is such a great, guidebook for what they're really doing. And it shows how it could be incredibly frustrating to be the public and led by the nose on these topics and distracted by something while something else is going on. And, it's all about that distraction and the ebb and flow of truth and information. And they give you a little bit, but then they throw you a whole bunch of BS. They show you in the same article the fact that there's 150 mysteries, but all they talk about are the 186 that they can explain. Incredibly frustrating. And that's the highlight of exactly how they control the narrative. They're showing you that they're absolutely showing you all their cards, but they're not interested in anything except what they can prove and what they're comfortable with. Like I said, they want you to feel comfortable. They want you
Yeah.
to feel like this is not a big deal, that they're on top of it. They have no idea what this is. There's no way they would. I mean, if it was our adversaries, they would be very pleased to tell you that 100% of these were our adversaries. Well, they're definitely not. And, we know that because of the way they're moving, and the way that we're unable to collect data on them. Even our military can't. Trust me, I understand how incredibly hard it is to collect data on this. Even with millions of cameras out there, we're still not getting it. So we know there's something, but we don't know what it is. And that's what they don't want you to know.
Frustrating times, isn't it?
Indeed. Indeed.
How do we, but I mean, here's the thing, how do we continue, as we only got about 15 seconds, how do we continue covering this story to the best of our abilities when even the most skeptical of people can see the runaround that's going on? But that's topic for a different night. Tim, thank you for the UFO report. Very much appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you for having me. And thank you, audience. I'll see you all next time.
Absolutely. We also want to say a big thank you to Shirky Poo for the news that we didn't get to. She'll kick my butt for that. Thank you to Swamp Dweller for another spooky night of stories. Chris Reinhardt for coming on in with some great stories on Sasquatch. I love it. I think it's getting great. I'm going to say great once again, just because I can. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot THAL rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, LGAF, Spreaker, Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. I know you're out there somewhere. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SLR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for tuning us in tonight, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. I know you're out there somewhere watching me. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. Good times. Good times. Good times. Good times. this? Upload. That's an upload. Does anybody else get upload and download mixed up all the time? I do. I do. I still have one guitar up here. It's right there. You can't see it. Low Pro. Bombshell Bomber. What's happening? Hey, Aiden. Thanks for coming on in. It's been deer season here since September 10th. Any questions, guys? While I'm editing? Come on. Anytime. I don't know when Grant's coming back on. Maybe soon, maybe later. That's a spot. That's it right there. That's about it. I've never been to Perry Sound, but I do know that's the home of Bobby Orr. And I believe Gord Kluzak, first overall pick in 1982. Billy Smith? Was he from Perry Sound too? Hold on, let's find out. Maybe he's from Perth, Ontario. Depends how much it would be. The Doug Shelby. The Doug Shelby has arrived. Depends on how much. As the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase said, everybody's got a price. What the hell is the start here? It's not making sense. Start should be right around here.
I've been learning to again, this is all new to me, the freak, but I have been doing a little bit of the meditation and a little bit of the chakra and a little bit of the healing stones, and I can tell you that it's relaxed me a little. It's definitely done something for the good better.
I think I cut it off. That's why I can't find it. From there. From there to there. Try this. Is that it? Okay, that's the last one. So it should be right here. Right there. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're looking for. Right there. Longer than what I thought it would. Which the close-up sighting happened April 20th, 2014. I was out driving over to a friend's house to meet my partner and started having a real bad migraine on the way there. And when I arrived, I went and sat on the couch trying to shake that freaking migraine. Pardon me. Trying to shake that migraine. I didn't even know. Oh, cut. And that didn't really work. That really didn't work. Until about half an hour later, I realized that I was not seeing or feeling a migraine or having a migraine, but it was actually shapes pulsating in my head as like a square in front, a triangle on the right side, and a circle on the left. And that was kind of interesting to have that play out. And shoot. Hold on 1 second here. Dave screwed it up. And so decided to finally go outside and see what was going on. And yeah, the UFO is about 150 yards away from us. And it was frightening because you're not supposed to see that stuff, right? Yet here we were, seeing this craft on the ground, lighting up the entire tree line. Then turning off and then restarting on my command. Raz, I don't plan on taking ayahuasca or any enhancements. I don't know what the hell else they did to me. Hi, gorgeous Larry. Okay, guys, I'm going to leave you for a couple of minutes here. I'm going to go do my thing. I'll be right back. All right. Sorry about that. Hi, Teresa. How are you? Back to the gym tomorrow to work out the guns. I'm hungry. All right, bear with me. Those. I'm going to go blurry here because I'm going to download these or upload these. I always get that confused. Do you get that confused? Hey, 405er, how you doing? No, I did not see any ETs on that one. The ETs came 5 days later. Bomber, I'm feeling tired right now. I've been really tired this last week and a half, just with a lot of shit on my mind with work and this and my mom and everything. So, it's been a real tiring time. Thank you, Mystic Swak. Oh, that would have been a good show, Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp. That would have been a really good show to see. What do we got on tomorrow night? Bill Madden is coming on. We're going to talk all sorts of weird stuff with him. Lost Empires, paranormal, supernatural stuff. It's going to be real interesting. Let's see. There's just Oryx there. Anything happening at Rosie's Pan? Nothing at Rosie's Pan. Tembe. Nothing's happening there. Nothing. Where else can we go? Oh, Coco. I don't know the name of that resort. But there's nothing happening there. Got some animals in the background, but too far away to tell what they are. Nothing at the drinking hole. Nothing anywhere. Boy, that's boring. Just boring. Oliphant's River. Nothing. They're staring down the trail that never has anything. Let's go to THAL. Oh, just a bunch of birds. No drunk partying with the wildebeest and zebras. Boy, this is terrible. Like, the animals should know by now that we're trying to watch them, but they don't. At least that's what I think. Maybe I'm just too stubborn. Hi, Nell. How are you? Good morning to you. How is my mom? Today was a good day. Learned a lot. My sister had a conversation with the doctors today, and she seems to be having she needs some physiotherapy care to get her body moving again, because she's been lying in a hospital bed for a month and a half. So they're trying to get her that right now. Don't know what's going to happen there. Still up in the air. Dave, do you have a pulse oximeter? No idea what that is. Let me look that up. Pulse oximeter. What is that? Let's take an image of that. No. No, I don't have one of those. Go here. Upload this. Mm-hmm. Dave has a deviated septum, a majorly deviated septum that Dave can push on over at any time to breathe. And it hurts, but either way. And my stomach is growling. Well, I just went to the doctor's. It's changing. My blood pressure is down, which is a good thing. It's not down where it needs to be yet, but we're getting there. That's the good part. All right, guys. That time of the night, I want to say thank you to Stephen, Ollie, and Eric for the super chats tonight. It's a wonderful way to support what we do on this show. After the show, do me a favor if you haven't already. Give us a thumbs up, thumbs down. Let us know what you think. Make some comments down below. Get the conversation going. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you tomorrow night with our guest, Tom Maiden, or Bill Maiden, pardon me. And I look forward to seeing you all again. We'll talk soon, guys. Take care.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.